Nerdrotic.com.
Hello. Welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from Nerdrotic.com. And it's been a minute, as usual, through the chaos. But I'm glad to be back here talking to you on a Monday morning. I hope nobody has a case of the Mondays. We've got a lot to talk about. David Chapelle had a special. I watched that. I watched a lot of stuff this weekend. I've seen a movie called Dune, and I'm going to give you my spoiler-free. I'm not going to, the book has been out there since 1965, I think, but I'll keep it spoiler-free. We also need to talk about a little thing called Liberty, which is in jeopardy right now, and we're seeing insane things like California mandating gender-neutral toy aisles. Gender-neutral toy aisles. We're also going to talk about Bond. It's been a big subject around these parts here, and it's an interesting one. We're seeing the box office is slightly off, but that's only after they change their projections from way off. So we'll discuss that. And if there's time, a little House of the Dragon, because Game of Thrones is kind of a big deal on this channel. So, at least to me, anyway. I've been thinking about it a lot. And whatever you guys really want to talk about. I'm waiting for Mrs. Nerdrotic to return home from Wisconsin. She's flying back. She was able to get a flight. Oh, yeah. We can start out with that while people roll in. And welcome, everyone. Y'all notice the clear, at least it was to me, suppression of certain stories. That's been going on for months, let's be real. But like this one was crazy. So there was a bunch of canceled flights from Southwest, 1,800 flights canceled. They said it was due to weather. That's what the mainstream media officially reported, and some air traffic controller issues. Those issues were they walked off the job. That's what we heard anyway. I don't know if we've gotten confirmation. I haven't checked the news this morning, so this was based on last night. And it caused chaos. And I'm like, God, this is the 1 week I decide to fly. So we'll see what happens. Maybe there's a very long drive in my very near future because Friday I'm going to be on Tim Pool. So that should be interesting. Let's see who's here. We're going to go to the chat box, and I'm going to have to move a little bit. That's just the way it goes. There we go. A little more centered. Hello, everyone. Jane Theory, the rebellion has begun. Yes, hello, Jane Theory. By the way, I want to point out, Jane Theory did a very good review of James Bond, No Time to Die. I thought she hit some real good points there. So when you get a chance, go and watch it. Hail. We got Eric K is here. I hope you're feeling better, buddy. Eric K just went through, I believe it was brain surgery. No, it wasn't brain surgery. It was some kind of surgery, but it wasn't brain surgery. I'm just fucking with him. Oh, now it's moving so fast. Here we go. Spat64, Insomniac 101, Robert Payne, Wheelman 03, Mighty Raptor Colby, Matthew Maxwell, Stetson Gold. What's up, man? Rick Hunter. That's a manly name there. Rick Hunter. Darth Cueball, Trenna, the Knitter, Guthridge, Cash Kester, Carrie Dalquist, I hope I got that right, Bionic Sasquatch, Lord Runner, and we'll let it get Brightest Day. I'll sub to your channel. I saw you the other day. I'll sub to your channel. What's up, Sporking News Podcast? I had a good time on his live stream a couple days ago. WG, J, Brandon Hopkins. Oh, what's that one right there? Yazoogle, Swifter, Randomize, Mark D with a C. I just lost that one. Sorry. Moons of Madness. What's up, Tom? How's it going? Oh my God, I'm going to dark side Phil here. Hang on. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Ginger, Hosley, Crisco Kid, Toxic Walls N8. Is that supposed to spell something clever? Well, I'm not clever. Trim the Sage, Otto, Tomato, and Isardi, and Evil Bunny. It must be bunnies for you Buffy fans out there. Welcome. Okay, where am I going to start? Where should we start? Okay, the stream is healthy now. I've got to wait. So, had computer issues last week, so that's why I could not stream regularly or do much of anything until I got that fixed, which I did. I finally, I didn't have to send the computer back. I called a couple of friends, hooked me up, and it's running pretty damn good, but the built-in external drive is still missing for some reason, but it's running fine, and that's all we needed to do. But I couldn't, there's a couple of videos I couldn't make, so they're just going to be late. House of the Dragon video is probably going to be tomorrow. Bond review, again, if it wasn't for Perry Chan, I wouldn't have any videos out right now, so he assisted with the Venom review and the Bond review. So hail Perry Chan, the international treasure. I love you, man. Thank you. Did a great job on that. And last night's Friday Night Tights, the audio issues, that was on me because we were going through StreamYard. StreamYard sucks. So that's all for audio. And they need to fix that. Quick reminder that the Friday Night Tights is going to be, I believe, at 10:30 a.m. Pacific on Friday. So it's going to be Friday morning tights due to me being on Tim Cast IRL on Friday. I'm flying out Thursday morning early. I'm going to have to get up at like 4 in the morning or something like that. And I'm flying out early out to the bunker. And then we got to drive out to the bunker. And it'll be interesting. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. But in the meantime, we have a lot to cover. So let's start out with Bond. And then I'll do my, then we'll talk about Dune. So you guys saw my review, or maybe you didn't. It's on the channel. You can go check it out. I would have felt differently about the film if it had ended differently. And I've heard all the arguments, and I understand, if you like a movie, awesome. That's okay. I'm just telling you what I think about a movie, and what I see and why I don't like it. And sometimes a good movie can make a bad decision, or, I would say a mediocre movie, a technically beautifully made movie. That's what was weird about it, is like, the people who worked on this, as far as editing, cinematography, the director, the crew, I mean, top notch. It was a pretty movie. The story just dragged. It was boring at times. It was melodramatic, and that's not why I go see James Bond. Now, we all go see James Bond for different reasons. I understand that. I am from the Roger Moore era. I grew up in the 70s. I was a kid in the 70s, a little kid. And you could watch Bond as a little kid. So Bond skews old now. And the reason it skews old is it's because it's Bourne. Matt Damon. It's Bourne. And it's not fun. Why did Venom kick its ass? Venom, at least, was fun. I thought, Venom is a throwback movie. And I said that in my review. It's like they pulled it out of a 2003 time capsule, but I'd much rather go see something like that than some drab, dreary thing where it's out there, by the way. So I'll say spoilers first. I'll give you a second. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bond dies at the end. And that's not something that I think here in the States, I can't speak for international, but here in the States, it's not something that inspires watching again. I know they were trying to do Logan. Let's talk about that because some people took exception, couple took exception to me pointing out Logan. They're saying it was a good movie. I'm all, yeah. You know what? I walked out of Logan saying that was a good movie, and I've never seen it again because it's depressing. It's totally depressing. And no, I didn't really have a problem with them killing Logan because there's a multiverse already that was established, and who knows what Logan that was. And we're not talking about a 50-year-old franchise where there's a comfort level knowing that James Bond is going to survive, but everybody else, not so sure. But what was just interesting to me is all the men died. All the men died. Subtle. Now, things can be elegantly woke. Things can be, I won't say woke. I would say it would have intersectional issues in it and still be a watchable thing. Certainly, Song of Ice and Fire has a lot of the themes that or an overall theme that Bond really did. It comes down to the definition. Well, there's feminism, which Dave Chapelle gave us the Webster. Not that I trust Webster anymore because they're starting to change words. But the definition of feminism, which is you believe that women deserve equal rights. Well, everybody, I think, believes that, but that's not what we see. And he mentions that too. He's all, I thought, well, we'll get a little later in the episode before we go over what he said a feminist was. But there's third wave, there's intersectional, there's radical, there's turf now, whatever. That's what Hollywood is. It was a James Bond for the Me Too Times Up era. Absolutely. Without a doubt. It was just well made. The characters weren't as insufferable as they were made out to be. And everybody's gone over this. But Jane Theory said this in her review. We had a version of James Bond in a woke world. In the world of modernity. And it just doesn't work. It's a square peg in a round hole. So I don't know where they go from here. I know a lot of people on Twitter are like, Henry Cavill for Bond. And that would make sense as far as we need butts in the seats. You want butts in the seats? Henry Cavill. He doesn't really look like James Bond from the books. I think it's a bit on the nose, but you need on the nose. You need fan service now. So yes, Henry Cavill as James Bond. Absolutely. And make it fun again. You can make it fun. I was thinking, honestly, the last, Man from U.N.C.L.E. is a cool movie. Kingsman, cool movie. They were made, God, I was looking up, Kingsman was made in 2004, so it was a long time ago now. And think about it. I was looking at the list of preview night box office intake. So it was the top 55 preview nights for the box office. It was, Avengers Endgame was number one at $60 million. It made $60 million on a Thursday. In one day, it made $60 million. And I would say the mid-range, I would say it averaged out to 25 to 30 million. But if you look at that list, there is a lot of movies from about 7, 8 years ago. That shouldn't be the case. Now, I know the CUF canceled last year, but we're talking 2019, 2018. They're sprinkled in there, but there's still a lot from 2012, 2007, 2008. What Venom came in at was, I believe, 13 million? No, it was 11 million. And Black Widow had 13 million, which is considered good to CUF standards, which, sure. Except for all those filled stadiums, filled concert venues, and filled Home Depots. So I'm not too sure about that. I still think there's a bit of a disconnect with the theater. And Hollywood is to blame on that one. Hollywood is to blame. So, it's got to make, it's been reported Bond has to make $900 million, but let's just say it needs to make $700 million. Well, it's got $400 million to go. It's made $300 million. It's done very well internationally, but it's starting to fade. I don't think the movie's going to make its money back, but I think they, being MGM, planned for this. That's why they tried to sell it. And while there is interest, from it sitting on the shelf for so long, you got to think there's insurance for that. And there's a way for Hollywood. There's always a way for Hollywood to cover their butts. But as far as the film goes itself, it was a weird one to review because the action scenes were freaking great. They were great. But when Bond goes in and basically apologizes and said, "I have always loved you." I'm like, oh my God. I was waiting for the organ music to start playing from the telenovela and the zoom in. I have always loved you. No, it's not Bond. But this film isn't the only one guilty of it. Pretty much everything since Casino Royale has been a slow deconstruction. So now we have a Bond with mommy issues. He was bullied by a foster brother. And he was just a sucker and a romantic. And hung up on two women. Yeah. That's the thing. That's our Bond. But the theme repeated from this film is the same theme we have seen, and I put it out. I put them in my review. It's what? Even Slate, Slate put out a headline yesterday saying that No Time to Die is basically the same movie as Avengers Endgame. And I'm like, wow, I agree with you. Yes, it is. It's basically the same movie. But we just don't agree with the results, right? So they say sometimes heroes pass the torch. No, not really. Sometimes heroes get torched. That's Endgame is a film that I walked out of it thinking I liked it and have liked it less and less each time I have seen it. And now I have huge problems with that movie. So you can only kill a main character once, right? Imagine if they came out and said, we're going to kill Superman again. First, you would first say, which one? The straight one or the gay one? It would still make headlines, but it wouldn't have the impact as it did, a few decades ago, 3-4 decades ago. 3 decades ago? 2 decades ago. I'm old. Start losing track of time. It wouldn't have the same impact. So where do you go from here? I don't think we're going to like it. I don't think we're going to like it. Like I said, it's going to be worse before it gets better. Far worse before it gets better. But I think the movie will probably be forgotten here in the States in the next couple of weeks. We got Dune coming out, and then we got Ghostbusters, and we'll see. I've been thinking here in Cali, we were going to get locked down. I was pretty sure we were going to get locked down. I'm thinking that even the California, our chairman, Gavin Newsom, is realizing we can't afford another one. So we'll see. We will see. I don't want to be here to find out. But I'm certainly looking forward to Ghostbusters, and we'll talk about Dune in a second. I don't know if it's going to do well at the box office. That's questionable. That is questionable based on what they're doing, which is releasing an HBO Max, which turns out to be not such a great idea. And we get to, we go, Captain Spire. Oh my God, is it the 11th already? It is. I give this new Bond the gold finger. I do as well. I think just killing a character just because you can, but it became a bit over the top when you did in Felix Leiter, Blofeld, Spectre, Logan Ash, who I expected to die, Cyclops, who I expected to die, and James Bond, who had, in my opinion, plenty of time to at least try to run away from the bombs, but no. He self-deleted. He gave up at the end. Bond gave up because he couldn't touch his daughter or Matilda. Now, somehow we have nanobots in this film that are impervious to electromagnetic pulse. It's a Bond film, fine. Somehow they run perpetually forever when... I guess I looked it up on Google. So the current nanobots can run for 10 days or something like that. And they run off of the electricity in your bloodstream or something like that. I read the definition. I am obviously not a scientist. But it's a Bond movie. Fine. But it's a grounded Bond movie. It's supposed to be a grounded Bond movie. And Lasagna Lynch's character was a dude. For most of it, was a dude. It's more of that. Now, this movie was made 2 years ago. 2 years ago was a different time. 2 years ago, we had the best economy I have seen in my lifetime. And we had time. Well, yeah, we had a good economy. We had no autonomy. We had a good economy. We had time to sit around and think about things like gender neutral toy aisles and, yeah, we don't anymore. By the way, it's very hard for me to take anything seriously while a government is mandating gender neutral toy aisles. I'm starting to think it's all bullshit. Gabe Gal says $5. You dropped the lead. Superman is smooching dudes. I'll talk about whatever you guys want me to talk about, but I mean, did they? It was just confirmation, right? So we knew this was coming. It's not the Superman, but it's a Superman, which is the whole point. So now everybody's going to think Superman is gay, or is it bisexual or gay? I need to get it right. This is what the comic industry has, and thank you, Gabe Gal, for $5. This is what the comic industry has resorted to. They have run out of things to shock you with because the only thing they have now is speculators. So it's a speculator-driven market, and everything is off of either announcing a TV show attached to a comic, printing multiple variants, or turning a character gay or black or Asian or something other than white. Good stories don't drive comics anymore. I mean, think about it. When was the last classic, oh my God, story? I would have to say right now, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and The Last Ronin. And that was a story written decades ago. King Spawn is okay, but it's nothing earth-shattering. It has been a long time since we had something groundbreaking. A long, long time. Something story-driven, like, oh my God, this is a great story. I need to buy this comic book. That's not what sells comic books anymore. It's one of the 37 to 75 variants. It's, it just got announced for a TV show. And that's why it's waning. It's waning very slowly. It's the long, slow death of the comic book industry. But as far as Superman, I'm probably going to, I don't know if I'll save that for a video or not. Here's the thing. The LGBTQ plus, the alphabet community, which Dave talked about a lot, has become highly politicized, and it has been used to weaponize language and attack people. So it gets very difficult criticizing anything associated with them, even when it's just a fictional character. And when you say something like, well, I mean, this is the context of it. They made a new character and they turned this character gay. But they're making these new characters, and when they had a derivative character, it used to be Superboy, Superwoman. Now they're just calling everybody Superman. Everybody Spider-Man. Miles Morales isn't Spider-Man, but he's called Spider-Man now. But everybody calls him Miles Morales because Peter Parker is Spider-Man. But now they're doing this to get a reaction from us. That's all this was. Headlines cause controversy. That's it. But it's not Kal-El. So the only thing I mean, honestly, it was just done to fool normies. And it's another opportunity for someone to go, I don't like this. And then somebody goes, you're an istophobe. You're a racist. You're a sexist. You're a homophobe. But I think it's a step in the direction of maybe turning Kal-El bisexual someday. Because what else do they have? They're running out. They're out of good ideas because they don't have talent. There is no real talent behind the comic book industry. There's a bunch of hangers-on who were never that talented in the first place, or they wouldn't be hangers-on. And there's a bunch of, I would call it casting. There's a bunch of casting. It's not hiring. It's virtue signal hiring, which is casting. We casted some writers of color so we can announce that we hired some writers of color. Are they right for the job? Well, I don't know. Is Ta-Nehisi Coates right for the job for Captain America, a character he hates? Or writing a Superman movie, a character he hates? No, of course not. So why would they hire him? To piss people off. Why would you make a snowflake and save space? To make money? Is that a wise, creative decision? Is that something that's going to get people buying comic books? Or was it made to piss people off? So it's official. They make Superman or a Superman bisexual or gay in the comic books, and now they can say, well, it's in the comic books and do it somewhere else. So don't be surprised if Jar Jar Abrams uses that. He will. Other news. Oh, my God. The other thing. I should probably make a video on this. Lord of the Rings. I tweeted about this a couple days ago. Tom brought it to my attention. Thanks, Tom. There's going to be black hobbits. I expected that. My issue is, why is there hobbits? Why is there hobbits? Well, there is some lore that they could probably conflate. But the biggest problem I had was Lenny Henry, who was playing a hobbit, said, we're going to see the early days of the Shire. For those of you who don't know, there was no Shire. Well, the Shire was there, but it was established in the Third Age. 1601 of the Third Age, I believe. Not the Second Age. So fuck it. Let's bring on female Gandalf now. So they are playing it fast and loose. That's the bottom line here is Amazon is playing it fast and loose with Tolkien's lore. And they're doing this because Christopher is gone and the heirs don't care. And they're just going to try to make another Lord of the Rings, except this one is going to be, according to Lenny Henry, female-centric. Instead of being just human-centric. Barbara Broccoli is a VeggieTales villain. Change my mind. Says, F name, I name for $5. I can't. Agent Bossy Boots. Why are you super chatting? Text me. Are you at the airport? I thought you were flying. Hang on. I have to. Yes. I am picking you up. Why is my wife super chatting me? What the fuck? I mean, like half of that's mine. I just super chatted myself. Lame. No, I love you, babe. Fly safe. I've been solo for a long time. The dogs, the family are all in a different state right now as we prepare for the move. So I've been in seclusion. Son of the Wolf for $5. Hail, Gary. Tuning in on my lunch break from the job site. Oh, well, cool. I hope you have a good day at work, and I'm glad to hear you're working. I'm glad to hear people are back at work, and I'm glad to see that a lot of people are just moving on with their lives. Despite Twitter, which is not the real world. That's the thing about Dave Chappelle, and I'll get into that. He says stuff that's pretty obvious. That's now considered controversial. And that's the world we live in. I'm glad to see people moving on with their lives, going back to work, and not really giving a shit about mandates. Not everybody. Still some work to do there, but I'm happy to see, at least here in California, most people, there's still people wearing a mask and whatever, but at least they're going back to work. Things are opening. We still have supply chain problems here, which are a little weird. Vincent VT for €5. Love the Dune movie. It was the best movie of the past 6 years for me. Okay. I will let you know what I think in a little bit. Excellent. Tempest 83 for $5. What day are you making your way out to the Beanie compound? I'm leaving Thursday at an undisclosed time, but I'll be there Friday, and then I'm just going to be right back home. Logan was absolute dog's breakfast. I don't watch Super Mutants to see old people have mental problems. That was the coup administration. That's what the coup administration is for. It says F name, I name for $5 or coup administration. Okay, I got you. The coup administration, I can read, is for. I screwed that up, man. Sorry. Yeah, I walked out of it going, it's something you wouldn't normally see. So I appreciated that part, but I never bought it. I never wanted to see it again. It's absolutely depressing, and I feel the same way about Bond. You walk out of there going, wow, did I need to see that? Did I need to see Bond die? Well, it had no impact on me other than pissing me off. But Bond dying, I wasn't like, it wasn't like Spock dying at the end of Wrath of Khan, which that's what it should be times 10, seeing Bond die. But this just felt like, oh, they're just setting him up to die. They're doing some pretty contrived things. Nerdy Girl creates for $4.99 the new manga recommendation for you, One Punch Man. Once I get through One Piece, because I used to think those were the same thing, but One Punch Man. I will check it out. Thank you, Nerdy Girl creates. Not applicable for $2. Logan's overrated. I said it. Don't at me. I think it, this is how I gauge movies, on whether I'll go watch them again. And I've never watched it again. And it really was something that started, it was Mad Max, it was Fury Road, and then Logan, and then they just ran with it, and we've seen that theme over and over again. It is dispatching your traditional male characters for something new that they call new and different, which is just a derivative character, a repurposed character. Gay Superman is a repurposed character. How is that progress? It's not. It's not progress. It's punishment, supposedly. It's purposefully diluting the lore. Create new characters, but they don't want to create new characters because A, they're not talented enough. And B, that's not what they're out to do. They're out to tear stuff down. What's up, bud? Listening while dusting my retro game collection. Well, be careful. Well, it's a game collection, Dan Vask. Thank you, Dan Vask, for the 50 Brazilian pesos. I have to be careful dusting this because I can break things. I have broken things. We did have a loss in the office the other day, so F's in the chat for my Metacom Ghost Rider. F's in the chat for my Real Action Hero Ghost Rider, which I picked up to dust, and it fell apart. Metacom is shit. They make absolute crap toys that don't last. They can look cool, but they don't last. So the pleather on the Ghost Rider jacket, I guess it was frayed and I didn't see it. F's in the chat for my Ghost Rider. It's gone. Very sad day. They all seem a bit down, don't they? They're real quiet. They're missing their friend. Not applicable. I think you're right. Stetson's Gold for £2. Welcome to my niece, born the 9th of October. Oh, right on. The planet has a new little girl. That's good. Stetson's Gold. Send your, I don't know if it's your sister or your brother, my best. Well, I mean, I don't know on the marriage side, but I guess technically I don't know either these days. What exactly went wrong with your new PC? Fizzin for $5, I would bore the shit out of you. The quick answer is one of my programs that I use to edit removed some other programs or some structure, because I'm not listen, I used to be pretty good at PCs 20 years ago. Pretty good with PCs. But then I went to Mac for editing. And when I was working in the industry for a little while, like everybody at the time was Mac. I think a lot of them still are, because Macs are really good to edit on. They are. So I don't know shit about these new PCs. So we had to reinstall Windows. We had to reinstall everything. And but we didn't have to do anything hardware related, thankfully. Air traffic controllers have more balls than cops to quit over principles, says Monkeyman04 for $5. Absolutely agree. I could not agree more. Hold the line. Now, I am not a union guy at all, ever. But it was funny watching people work out, especially the uber fanatic, authoritative, radical left, trying to work out like, oh, we like organized labor, but we can't like this because it goes against our narrative. It's breaking the narrative. What do I do? It was funny. Yeah, I think if I said it before, they have used our convenience against us. And people have gotten very, very comfortable. And the thought of losing some of these convenience, and let's be real, a lot of people were locked down for a long time, and they were watching on a constant feed fear porn for a year. That's going to freak some people out till the end of time. There are some people who are never going to leave their houses again. There are people out there who are just normal functioning citizens, and this pandemic broke them. The stories are out there. I was reading that one where the wife's like, yeah, my husband won't take his mask off during sex. That kind of shit. I dipped in on the mainstream media for the first time in, I can't even remember how long, to see if they were talking about the air traffic controllers, which they weren't. But the page is full of death, crisis, murder, death, crisis, murder. And like Bill Hicks says, you look out your window and so turn it off. Find other ways to get news. That's what I do. It takes a little work, but it's a joke. It's a fucking joke. What other groups of people have walked out that we have not heard about? And then, there was these huge rally in Italy that looked fun. I actually wanted to go. I was like, oh my God, the Italians rally. Cool. I want to go to that. They're all saying, let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon has gone international. John Talks did a video on it. Let's go, Brandon. Jester of Roanoke for $1. Calling it now. They will have the black hobbits establish the Shire, then have white hobbits steal it from them, colonize. Even Bag End will somehow be stolen property. It's the worst thing I can think of, so it will happen. You know, it's starting to be kind of like the Babylon Bee, right? Our woke predictions, which are getting kind of fun because they're pretty easy to figure out. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a theme just like that. Jester of Roanoke for $1. Hey, Gary, let's hope that Doctor Who Flux is about to fake Doctor Who regenerate due to both hearts failing after massive case of acid reflux due to eating a slice of humble pie. Cheers. Yes. Oh, there's Doctor Who too. It's coming back October 31st. In a couple of weeks. Doctor Who's coming back in a couple of weeks, and it's going to be airing, I guess, right before Star Trek Discovery, but they will be airing at the same time because there was a Star Trek Discovery trailer, there was an Expanse trailer, a House of the Dragons trailer, and some stupid Doctor Who promo, and it's called Doctor Who Flux. So they got rid of all of their social media and then recreated it, and this is going to be called Doctor Who Flux. Everybody's calling it acid reflux. I think that's perfect. I like it. No need to change that. And it's going to be 6 episodes, and it's going to suck. I mean, we've seen 2 full seasons. There hasn't been a decent moment, much less a decent episode. Pitter86 for $5. Much love from Poland, sir. Thank you. Hail, Poland. Land of the Witcher. Very sorry what Netflix is going to be doing to your character. Yeah, there were a lot of trailers because of New York Comic Con. I did hear some vendors were kicked out for not wearing a mask. That's why I didn't go. I don't want to run around I mean, like, having a mask when you have people like rubbing each other nuts to butts is, I can't think of anything more pointless. And the last time I was there, I sat in an Antifa panel. That's right. An anti-fascist panel at the New York Comic Con. It was me, Quarter Black Garrett, John F. Trent, and we heard some of the worst shit you could possibly imagine. We still have it on video. Maybe we'll bring that back someday. Brightest Day for $3. The chat on Sporking Stream was a sarcastic self-jab. Don't feel compelled to give me a pity sub if I haven't earned it. Thank you for doing what you do and supporting the community. It's not a pity sub, Brightest Day. I support the fellowship. I will check it out. But awareness is good. Yes, you have to ask. If you want something, you need to ask it first. There's organic growth with everything. I understand that. But I don't think it's you can ask all day long. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Grim Poltikin for $5 says, hey, I sent you an email. Any chance I can get a copy of the FNT poster from the meetup? Yes. Can you see it? See if Perry Chan can fix my last name and credits to be Potokin. Or just not P. Looking forward to seeing you on the Beanie Show. Enjoy the $5 hairs. Or $5 hairs. Enjoy the $5 hairs. Okay. That's terrible. Grim. Yeah, Grim. Contact X-Ray Girl, and we will get that fixed. If anybody needs, has an issue with name spelling or anything on the credits, contact X-Ray Girl on Twitter. Her DMs are open. All right. Okay. Let's talk about Dune. And we're going to talk about Liberty in a little bit too. We're going to talk about Liberty. And again, there's so much. Superman's gay. Doctor Who's coming out. Star Trek Discovery's coming out. I'll tell you what I thought of the trailers. We'll try to go over all of it. right here. But let's talk about Dune. This will be spoiler free. Okay. Up front, I have, let's go over here. Let's go more centered. There we go. I have not read the books. I have tried on 5 occasions to read the books over the course of my life, 52 years old. I have never, I think the deepest I've gotten in is a couple of 100 pages. It just was a slow, plodding read to me. And Dune fans, I'm sorry, it's just not for me. It's not badly written. No, it's a very well-written book. It's a classic book. It's an all-time classic book with a huge, passionate fan base that if I was into, I could get thousands of views on this channel by covering Dune lore and stuff like that. And I love lore is like one of my favorite things, if not my favorite thing. That's why I like A Song of Ice and Fire, and that's why I like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. But I've just never been able to get, and I don't know why. I tried the audiobook. That was pretty good. I'm into that, and I am going to finish it. But I just want to say up front that I am basically a normie walking into the Dune movie. So when it comes to changes to the lore, to characters, racial swaps or whatever, I'm very ignorant to it. I do know some things. Like the Bene Gesserits. The Bene Gesserits are a female order with superpowers who kind of pull the strings in this intergalactic empire. Was established in 1965. So I knew that. I know some of the criticism by the access media. Some of it was, this is a good movie, but it's got a white savior. It's like, okay, I know, because I've been a nerd my entire life, I've talked to enough people to know what basically the plot is to Dune. I know where it goes. I know where Paul goes. I know somewhat. Okay. The biggest problem this movie is going to have is I guess, the first half of the book. So it ends on a cliffhanger. There's no other way to put it. It ends on a cliffhanger. I won't tell you what that cliffhanger is, but it ends on a cliffhanger. And we do not have a sequel greenlit. And I don't know how many people know that going in. And as I've said before, I really don't like investing time in stuff that's not going to finish. I will say I hope it finishes because I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Was it Lord of the Rings good? No, not to me. It was a beautiful film. Denis Villeneuve, I can't say his last name. Denis Villeneuve. Who directed Blade Runner 2049, which I thoroughly disliked. And I worship at the altar of Blade Runner. I saw it in the theaters as a 12-year-old with my friend Doug and my mom because it was rated R. But I didn't like Blade Runner 2049. I think it answers a question that should never have been answered from Blade Runner, and it's a lot of people walking very slowly up to doorways. Beautiful looking film. Totally beautiful looking film. This one, much different. It's paced pretty well. It's got a good cast. The acting is top notch. And again, like the effects, and you've got to see this, yes, on a giant screen. You need to see this on a giant screen. I did not see it on a giant screen. How I saw it, I'll tell you how I didn't see it. in a theater. So, I thought it was pretty good. I would give it, I don't give a score. So for those of you who don't know in the book, it takes place thousands of years from now in an intergalactic empire with humans that I believe are descended from Earth, right? They're all descended from Earth. That you're going to have to tell me, book people, on that one. But that's what it seems like, because there's still some Earth traditions. There's like a bagpipe in it. And there is the Harkonnens, House Atreides, and I forgot what the Imperial House was. So there's three major political houses. So there's a bit of a what the normies will call a Game of Thrones thing going on, but Dune was first. So, and it's, I would say the one concern I had going in is it going to play to normies? Is this going to be fun enough to have the broad general appeal to be a massive hit, which it needs to be? This thing needs to be a massive hit. It looks like a really expensive movie. And that's I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. It's doing pretty well internationally, but I just don't know how well it's going to play at the box office, because it's not fun like Star Wars or even Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings was a fun movie, and there is levity in it, and there is some really fucking cool moments. Really cool moments. I loved the first 2/3 of the film. I don't know if I absolutely loved where it ended, but maybe they had to do that. I'm not sure. I think it clocks in at like 2.5 hours. And maybe there's a director's cut out there that gives us a little more. It is missing some characters, like one of the Baron's nephews isn't in it. The one that Sting played in Lynch's Dune, which I like, but I like for its corniness. Plus, the first time I saw Lynch's Dune, I was like high as fuck. So I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. I liked everything when I was high as fuck. But I'll say it is a visual achievement. Like everything you've ever seen. I'm sure a lot of you have seen some of the art, some of the ships and stuff from Dune. That those are there. What the only thing missing, they didn't spend a lot of time with exposition, which I guess was good for the pacing. It worked. But there's a lot of stuff I want to know more about that I guess is going to be in a later film. The book has 2 parts too. Okay, well then they ended it where they had to end it. But it basically it feels like a really good prologue. They give you some insight to that, but we're following Paul, and the guy who plays Paul, he's pretty good. Apparently in the book, he's supposed to be a scrawny 15-year-old. I thought this kid was very scrawny. So in the book, he's supposed to be a scrawny 15-year-old. And he's with, there's the speech that everybody's seen on, in the trailers and out there. And I love it because it's like one of the few good dad scenes you'll ever see, where Paul says, hey, like, what if I'm not the one? What if I don't want to do this? And then, his dad says, well, then you'll be everything you needed to be to me, my son. And just like as a dad, you go, yes. That's rare in Hollywood. Rare. It's got a good dad. I freaking love the costuming, the use of the way they showed, the way you hear the other languages. And for a Denis Villeneuve movie, it's paced well. Like, he tends to be a little slow and prodding. He really loves his own cinematography, and it is pretty. It is pretty, but he loves it like way too much in fucking Blade Runner 2049. That isn't the case here. But I would sit here and tell you, like, I liked it. I don't have any real complaints about it at all. I enjoyed the movie as a movie. Without knowing much from the adaptation. I'm not the biggest Zendaya fan. I know a lot of people I don't dislike Zendaya. I just a little overhyped. I guess some people think she's hot. She's 25. She looks like a 12-year-old. There's no way, I'm old, so there's just no way I could look at her like that. It feels weird and creepy. Listen, yeah, because I'm decades older than her. I feel like I should be taking her to soccer practice, bringing her orange slices in a juice box. But other than that, she is a big part in the film, but she's not in it that much. Not in the first one that much. This one's completely centered around Paul, and I feel like they give you enough of the story to know what's going on, and I know there's so much going on in Dune, and I thought that was one of the good things. I didn't walk out of that going, I was confused or anything. I completely understood kind of like the structure of the political system and how things worked, and it didn't get in the way. The action, there is action, and it's very good. The effects, again, are insanely good. Like, damn. But that's easy. Well, it's not easy, but it's a desert environment. We are in a drab desert environment all the time. Now, we do get to see some of the planets, and the barren scenes are fucking awesome. Those are my favorite. I like the look. I guess they changed the look of the Harkonnens. I don't know how they were described in the books, but I know in the Dune special, and I know in the Dune movie, they had red hair. They're very pale and sickly looking because their planet, according to Denis Villeneuve, their planet is made of plastic. Now, I heard this from a lore YouTuber, so he was covering an interview with the director who I guess made some changes, slight changes, but their home world is basically all industrial. But in the movie, they made their planet. It's not on a planet, so it's a artificial planet that they're from. So they don't get a lot of sunlight, and they all look very white, pale, and sickly, and they are the conquering colonist oppressors. There's definitely that theme there. This is all about colonizers, but knowing where the story goes, I think it's interesting enough. So Paul is like this messiah figure. When he gets there, he already starts getting. He was supposed to be a girl. So the concubine of, is it Leto, right? If I get the name wrong, sorry. But Paul's father is Leto, I believe. And he's got a concubine that he's in love with, and she has a kid. She was ordered by the Bene Gesserits to have a girl because it's an all-female order. And she decides to give him a son as an heir. Plus, because she loves him. And that's Paul. So Paul has these powers. which get enhanced by the spice. And everybody knows what the spice is. Everybody knows what the spice. Taste very well. What the hell? Oh, what the hell was that? And I don't have any real complaints about the film. I think it's one of the better films I've seen this year. What happened? Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened there. Can you guys still hear me? Give me thumbs up. I'm frozen? Oh, it is frozen. Okay. Yeah, what the hell? Hang on. What the hell? The camera just disappeared. So just listen for a little bit. Hopefully you can still hear me. Give me just a sec. I'm going to be turning that off. Nope, that doesn't hurt. We're going to have to get rid of it altogether. And we're going to have to go like this. Give me just a moment. I am adding a new camera, which is working just fine. There we go. Un momento. There we go. We back. Let's get this back. There we go. Very large. Very large. That's what she said. That's what she said. There we go. Okay. So Dune. As far as yeah, I would say the only I don't have any personal complaints about this film. I will go see it again for sure. I will go see it in a big IMAX theater where I want to see it. I hope it gets a sequel. That would be my only complaint, is making this movie without greenlighting a sequel is insane. It takes a lot of confidence, because it does not have an ending that anybody's going to be happy with if there's no sequel. I mean, that's just a fact. I don't know how well. It's not projected to do that well in the States. I think I heard something right around, Suicide Squad numbers, which is too bad, because the Suicide Squad so far, I would say it's the best time I had in a movie theater. I love the Suicide Squad. Did I like it more than I like Dune? They're so different. The movies are so different. I can't. Dune's like is a more serious film. So technically, I guess it's a more serious film. It would be considered a better film, but I would probably watch, I don't know. I watch them both the same, really. I'd watch them both the same, but I would say Dune is by far one of the better movies this year that I've seen. It's probably going to be, I think the people who go see it are going to enjoy it. I just don't know how many people are going to be into what I would consider like the hardest of hardcore science fiction. So it's up to the normies, but I think it's going to play very well to the nerds. So yeah, I thought it was pretty damn good. I'll get into, I'll probably do a full-on spoiler review in the next few days. I recommend you go see it. Absolutely. If you want to go see something that you won't see every day or anytime soon in the movie theater, this is the kind of film that comes around once a decade. They really, I mean, like again, I haven't seen it on a giant screen, but man, those special effects were fucking good. And I am usually not a fan of this director. I'll just say that right now. But I didn't think it was the greatest thing I've ever seen either. I thought it was a good movie. Will I own it? Only if they make a sequel. Only if they make a sequel. And last time I checked, it was not greenlit. But Dune is worth spending your time at the movie theater for. It's not boring. I didn't find it boring. There are I can't get into spoilers, but they show you through visions. What's to come. Paul has visions because of the spice. And they get into the spice a bit. But again, this is just a prologue. And yes, you do see some sandworms. And I guess I would have liked maybe a little more of the Baron. But maybe that's just how it's paced in the book. That's all. I'm trying to think of things I don't like about it. Yeah, the only thing I can see hurting this film is normies not wanting to go. And I can see some people just not being into this kind of science fiction and thinking it's boring. We've heard this before, haven't we? Double back again for $2. Says Dune's best movie since what? Thoughts for Az. Dune best movie since the Suicide Squad. I as far as science fiction movies go, it's probably one of the better science fiction movies I've seen in a while. I have to think about it. I usually don't do a full review. No, I rarely do a full review of a film before I see it twice, just because of my memory. And the first time I watch a film, I just want to watch it and not have my notebook in my hand. So then I get my notebook out and I do my notes and I get into the ins and outs and what's fors. And this is my notes for Dune so far because I want to see it again. And that's also how oh my God. Course. I don't know how well this is coming through, so sorry. Yeah, as far as I just need to see how it is on the second time around, because that is important to me. I think that really, when I see a movie a second time and I'm just as entertained, I think, well, this is something that'll play for the normies because everybody can see a movie once. And most people only see a movie once. But like I said before, my memory is something to where I need to see it twice, especially when I do a review. So we'll see how exciting it is on its second time. But the people I know that have watched it, that I trust, liked it, which doesn't matter to me, but it's good. And I liked it. But I didn't think, the expectation, or I think people wanted it to be Lord of the Rings. I think Warner Brothers wants it to be Lord of the Rings. It's not Lord of the Rings. I don't think so. But it's really good. I read Dune, the whole book, at 19, a difficult book, which is very difficult to adapt to cinema. But I would say Dennis V is right, man. Yeah, and I think he did a good job adapting it. Now, I need to hear from the hardcore Dune fans and see what they think. Some of the ones who have seen it love it. But I'm just going off of what I think. And I thought it was an entertaining movie. But I didn't feel like I walked out of something earth-shatteringly great. But, I mean, you could say, like, tonally, it ended just like, Fellowship did. We had people running off without the adventure even being close to being complete. We'll just say that. But the big difference is we knew the Two Towers was coming out in a year. And we don't know if Dune Part 2 is coming out at all. That's a big difference, and that's going to matter to people. Was watching last night. You lamented lack of dialogue proficiency in Hollywood. I say force writers to read the full Elmore Leonard bibliography before they write a script. Says Kate C., a.k.a. Snake Plush Kitten. For $20. Thank you. I completely agree with that, by the way. Elmore Leonard is the man, or was the man. I think is the man. I can't remember if he's alive or not. But dialogue is dead. So many people want to write Whedon speak, and only Joss Whedon can write Whedon speak. Here's $5 towards Starlink, says Jason for $4.99. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta, it's good to have these live streams, and I'd rather have it. It says it's fine now. It's fine. So yeah, it was, I wasn't sure if I was going to like it when I went in. I'm like, I don't know. This is going to be a tough sell. I think there's going to be, I think some people will come out saying that there are some slow parts. I didn't feel that way. And because it's coming, I don't know if this is fair, but life isn't fair. I don't know if this is fair to the film, but I think people are going to say it's got some wokeness in it. And I don't know, again, what the gender race swaps were. There is an Conqueror theme, which is fine. That was there in 65. I guess the biggest thing is I don't know what to think of this because it's not a complete movie. It's just not a complete movie as much as people can't. Just as, even Fellowship, it wasn't a complete movie. And that's probably the biggest problem I have with it. I don't know how wise of a decision it was to just go balls out on this and not, just green light the sequel. Take a chance. I think it would have ended up bearing a more fruit if people knew the sequel was out there. I love Dune, but it's ecological space, feminism, and Frank Herbert said so himself. I said of it then, realistic
boring Lord of the Rings, which is my jam. Yeah, Lord of the Rings is 1,000 times better than this movie. Come on. Let's not trick ourselves. Gary, you ever read King Killer Chronicles? Amazing fantasy story, but another author who can't finish his series. I have not. Well, if he can't finish, then I definitely don't. I mean, as good as it is, I don't want to check it out. But F Name, My Name, yeah. I mean, there was definitely with the Bene Gesserits, there is that. There is that. But, I mean, if you look at it, though, it took a dude with their powers to become Space Jesus. Now, what does that dude do with his Space Jesus? Glenn Main for $5 says, my weekly trivia I go to tomorrow. The theme is Doctor Who. I wish you lived near me to be on our team. I wish I was there too. I'd love to do that someday. That'd be fun. Thanks for the $5. Grant Matheson for £2. Hail chat, Gary. Stay awesome. You stay awesome. You stay awesome. Comrade Roof Korean, the Based, says, Gary, don't know if it's an upcoming project. Check out Jamie Costa, Kenobi fan film. Just released a 3-minute Robin clip honoring Robin Williams. Oh, cool. I will check it out. Thank you, sir. I miss Robin Williams. I do. The Virgin Build Back Better versus the Chad. Let's go, Brandon. Says Red Wolf Corp revamp for $5. Let's go, Brandon. Polly Baba for $2. 81 million votes. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Michael Pronosti for 20 Canadian pesos. Oh my God, I can't. Oh, Michael Ponesti can say this because he's Italian. I'm like 1/16 Italian, so I guess I can 1/16 say this. The wops in Italy know what's good. Let's go, Brandon. That's terrible. Mama Susan, I got to read the super chats. Thunderstorm for $4.99. Why do they hate superheroes? Why do they hate good? Because they hate. Because they hate. Okay? That's the deal. They are angry. They are angry, insecure, miserable individuals who lack meaning in their life and, more importantly, lack gratitude. They have been told through university or bad parenting or whatever that this system is against them. This system is designed to take them down. This system is not perfect. This system is not fair. Life isn't fair. This is the best system so far that we've had when it comes to personal freedom. We live in a country where Dave Chapelle can turn down $50 million. Now, it turns out that his turning down those $50 million what defined his career, and he ended up making pretty much that much anyway. But he didn't know, but the opportunity was there. We live in a country where a 2-time loser can put his life back together, have a family, buy a house. This is all before YouTube, by the way. We live in a country where 2 douchebags can go on a fucking podcast and bitch about capitalism for 2 hours while making bank and being watched by millions. H3H3, the Leftovers podcast. I mean, it's a great fucking country with a lot of opportunities. We live in a country where Eric July can be good at everything. I don't know where I was going with that, but it just pisses me off that he's good at everything. There's got to be something he sucks at. Maybe it's Mario Kart. I don't know. But we have a big problem right now. A lot of big problems. But our entire system is being threatened, and they have invaded our culture and taken it over. Why do they hate good? Because they think, because they hate themselves and they see good as the oppressor, heroism as the stories from the oppressor. Because, like I said, they have learned all this through our university system, which has poisoned our society. Absolutely poisoned our society now. This is without question. I'm sure there are good schools out there. I'm sure there are good teachers. Not enough. Not enough. And maybe, just maybe, if schools start mandating the poke, it'll get people out of school and thinking about something else. You can still have the career you want. You don't have to go into major debt at a university and learn how to hate everything. It's indoctrination at this point. I have no problem with people teaching real history and showing all of the atrocities and everything. Yes, the truth is always the best way. But when you're teaching it with the way that this all needs to be torn down, and I think there's a belief out there by a lot of people that this system can be, that it could be metaphorically torn down, but all the infrastructure will still be there, and it'll just be the same as it is now, except I won't have to work, or I'll be able to do what I want, or I'll be able to get some sort of universal income, or I'll be able to be compensated differently, and I won't have to pay rent anymore, and it's just property. Without really understanding what giving up that kind of freedom is, of giving that much control to a giant unaccountable entity that controls everything now. No understanding. So when you see people bitching that they missed a plane flight because some people walked out for their personal freedoms, that's what we're going to have to give up. Now, thankfully, I saw a lot of people going, I missed a flight today, and good. If this is what it takes to keep what freedoms we have left, good. We're going to have to give up some conveniences. That's going to have to happen now. But they hate superheroes, Thunderstorm, because they're hateful racists. That's it. Heroism is a tool of the patriarchy. That's what they were told from a regurgitated lesson at university that they're still paying off with their 5 roommates, their 10 cats, and their cup of soup. Nothing against cup of soup. Beach Lover for €10. Watch War 19 with Tiger Shroff and Hrithik Roshan on Prime Video. It's a great agent movie, like the former Bond movies, with hot men, hot women, and a lot of action and very thrilling story. I'll check it out, Beach Lover. Daryl the Derelict for $5. Says, "Hail, Gary. Love the show. At this point, why doesn't Hollywood just slap us in the face with a dildo?" Well, they are, metaphorically speaking. Metaphorically speaking, they are. Big D, "I've given up on new media. I'll stick with old Bond, Rockford Files, and Magnum PI. I may already know the stories, but at least they're well written and fun." Yes, fun. Hollywood needs to rediscover fun immediately, or they're just going to lose people, and they already are. And we've talked about that a lot. The thing is, content creators, we're a surprise to them. They saw a lot of things coming. Like they do the research, so they know when there's going to be changes in infrastructure, when things are going to go digital. They were planning this when I worked in Hollywood in 2010, 2011. They were planning for today. Back then, I sat in meetings, lots of meetings, talking about what's happening right now. And it's going down just like I thought it would, and a lot of other people too. Now, I didn't think the entertainment would be this bad. I'm talking about the technical side of it. I did not see, we are in Hollywood's worst era. And when we get a movie like Dune or The Suicide Squad, that's a rarity. And those are two movies that I liked. I don't think this is fair to Dune at all, but it needed to be earth-shattering. It needed to be groundbreaking, earth-shattering, mind-blowing science fiction, and I just don't think it's that. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's that. I could be wrong. When people see it on the 22nd, they could go nuts, and if they do, great. High Q for £5. "Gary, the Eternals should be called the Millennials. Pretentious liberals with superpowers." Yeah, it's been a while since I've done a Nerdrotic Nooner, so maybe you guys missed that I did speak to a friend of mine who works in the industry, has worked in the industry for a long time. And this person has a lot of access to things and stuff. So they have seen completed Marvel movies that we're not going to see for a year. First cuts, things like that. Sat in with meetings with some pretty big names, like people like Jon Favreau, people like Kevin Feige. Told me that the Eternals is garbage, just total garbage. No fixing this one. No fixing this one. Chloe Zhao set out, and this is his words, set out to make an important film, an important superhero film. What it looks like is a bunch of people in bad costumes dancing around on a green screen, and that's mostly what it is. But it's supposed to be, as far as the woke intersectional factor, it's going to make Captain Marvel look entertaining. It's going to be the worst of the worst, supposedly. I have not seen the movie. So I don't know. Take that for what you will. Hail, Gary, the final season of The Expanse begins December 10th. Will it be weekly? Asked Nicholas Horton for £5. Yeah. I do believe so. We'll see if Amazon holds the line on the weekly stuff. I know the Orville will be weekly when it returns next year. Yeah, so we have Doctor Who on the 31st. Star Trek Discovery sometime in November. Not looking forward to it. Just thinking about it makes my head hurt. The Witcher. What else do we have? I know there's, Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai. It's going to be a very busy last 4 months for this channel because I'm covering all that stuff. We're going to be doing the live reviews right after the episodes for any show that's weekly, not The Witcher, unfortunately, because Netflix is dumb and releases all their stuff at once. The binge model's stupid. You can always binge it later. You give up as big as The Witcher was, imagine how big it would have been if it was weekly and it had water cooler every week. So much bigger. It does already have a season 3, though. Will The Witcher be in The Witcher? I don't know. I don't think so. But I could be wrong. By the sound of it, the nanotech was done better in Cowboy Bebop movie Knocking on Heaven's Door. Says Brown Gaijin for $5. Well, you would know. I wouldn't. But the nanotech technology was not what it felt like to me, and I cut this out of my review, is it felt like to me there was much more to the story, and they cut it out, and the movie was already too long because they had to add things to change characters because you could see changes. There was changes, and you could tell when Phoebe Waller-Bridge was writing dialogue. You can absolutely tell. But this is just a theory. This is just a movie theory. I think the original plan was to kill off races of people with the nanotech, and they decided to dial that back because that might have looked a little too on the nose and too divisive. You know, kind of like Watchmen was, the TV show, which was just a hateful show that exploited one of the worst atrocities. Not like we've done a lot of atrocities in this country, but this one's in top 10 easily. And they turned it into a super villain story, which is disgusting. R. Ferguson, Lady Jessica, griping about Paul, the white savior, and not enough strong woman proves she has no clue about Herbert on her source material. Oh, okay. Says Dick Mustang for $5. Yeah. I even know that Paul isn't it looks like that at first, but it definitely changes into a jihad, and that's what it's called in the books, I believe. One Punch Man is satire. Watch more anime first to fully enjoy. Otherwise, mediocre. Almost done with my anime recommendations for beginners video. Oh, Kai MFS, that's a great idea. I think a lot of people, if like this is your chance, you're starting to see the comic book industry. They're gonna, there's like Spider-Man. I can't say it right. Spider-Man manga out there. It's being translated, and we'll see if more is translated, and we'll see if there's more superheroes going into that. Now, this happened before. This is very cyclical. This happened 15 years ago. Marvel tried to go full manga and couldn't. We'll see if they can. I don't think so because the writers suck. My local librarian said, F you to the government's mask mandate. This is Quatrina Senpai. Good to your local librarian. Fuck mandates. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you want to, like everybody says, I do believe some of my detractors called me anti-vax. No, I'm not. If you want to get the poke, get the poke. I could care less. There are certain things. I even gave my youngest son, if it's not available to him just yet, but it's his decision. He's old enough to where it can be his decision. He said no, which was the right one. Digby Strawbridge for 10 pounds says, so sad to see what has happened to Lenny Henry. Was funny, now just an angry, ill-informed bore. Look at his comments regarding Doctor Who. Oh, I've seen Lenny Henry. Yeah. I think he just became part of the system. And that's what I fear Russell T. Davies is going to become too. Although I haven't heard rhetoric like I've heard from Lenny Henry. Let's go over that article real quick, shall we? Give me just a moment. Again, thanks to Tom for sending this to me. And there's two I want to go over. Give me a moment. It's not cooperating. Why aren't you cooperating? There we go. Lord of the Rings shows Hobbits won't be. I got to see if I'm still centered. Hang on. It's frozen again. Why is it doing that? That is interesting here. I wonder what is going on with that. That's interesting. All right. Well, we're going to read this article real quick, and then I'll fix the camera again. All right. That's good. All right. Lord of the Rings show Hobbits won't be all white like in the movies. Amazon's upcoming Lord of the Rings TV show will feature more diverse hobbits, according to British actor Lenny Henry, who will appear in the series. The upcoming Lord of the Rings show will feature hobbits that are not white. Okay, we've already said that. Fucking garbage tier. Since the movies have ended, the legacy of the Lord of the Rings has continued to endure, with many comparing fantasies that have come since the age-old classic. It was recently revealed that Amazon's Lord of the Rings TV show adaptation will receive a September 2022 release date to air on Prime streaming platform. The highly anticipated series has supposedly been in the works for years, and it's blah, 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 blah. Here's what Lenny Henry has to say. I'm a Harfoot. Okay, a Harfoot is one of the three hobbits. Okay. Because J.R.R. Tolkien was also from Birmingham, suddenly there were black hobbits. I'm a black hobbit. I don't even know I don't know what the context of this is. It's brilliant. And what's notable about this run of the books, it's a prequel to the age that we've seen in the films. It's about the early days of the Shire. Early days of the Shire. Give me more. I'm fixing the camera. Ooh, I'm huge. Hang on. Yes, that's what she said. Early days of the Shire. Okay, well, the Shire was established in the third age, and this show takes place in the second age. Now, the very woke sellout shill will do anything for access onering.net, which has been one of my biggest disappointments here on the internet. Reported earlier on that Amazon was going to be playing it fast and loose with Lord of the Rings, and this is pretty fucking fast and loose. In the Silmarillion, Frodo of Bag End is mentioned And that's it. That's it. Yes, there were hobbit-like folk in the, there are definitely descendants. They came from, around the Misty Mountains, and they eventually came into the Shire. At the time, the Kingdom of Honor. And it was settled in the Third Age, and a good ways into the Third Age. So he's not done there. So early days of the Shire and Tolkien's environment. That's a key word there. Not Tolkien's world, not Tolkien's lore, not even Tolkien's legendarium, his environment. See, these are the little subtle words you got to look into, which gives you a little peek into how the creatives, in air quotes, are adapting this work. Tolkien isn't much of a lore or a world or a universe. It's more of an environment that we can reinterpret for a larger global audience and make it more accessible and relatable. So we're an indigenous population of Harfoots. The Harfoots are the indigenous population to the Misty Mountains where they were first reported. It's murky, and it's purposefully murky, the history of the hobbits. They don't know when the Hobbit branch split off from man, if they did at all. So I don't know exactly what he means by indigenous. Now, there are hobbits. There is a description of hobbits. And I did read this somewhere, and it was years ago. But there is a description of hobbits out there, I believe. Again, I'm not a fucking expert. I would say I'm a student of Tolkien. Student, not an expert. Would never call myself an expert in anything. That's crazy talk. But there was a description of like walnut brown skin. I don't know if Lenny it kind of sounds like he's mixing something up a little bit, but the man said early days of the Shire, so I got to go off what he said. We're multicultural. We're a tribe, not a race. We're black, Asian, and brown, even Maori types within it. No, you're Harfoots. You're Harfoots. You're a hobbit. Prime Video has become the top contender in the streaming wars with the shows like The Boys and Invincible. And the Lord of the Rings show should be another show to drive up their subscription numbers. Even 20 years since Jackson's first Lord of the Rings film came out, the franchise is still incredibly popular. For now. While characters like Frodo and Sam will always be beloved by fans, it will be a fresh change of pace to see more diversity in such a popular setting like Middle-earth. Regardless of what Amazon does, their show will likely be criticized if it strays way too much from Jackson's vision. Well, they're probably not wrong there with the normies. But focusing more on diversity and female empowerment should be a welcome change to Lord of the Rings. You fucking hacks. What is female empowerment to Matthew Biggin? What is female empowerment to Matthew Biggin? Is it women acting like men? Because I would argue, even for its day, it had female empowerment, but we are still talking about a feudal society. Lines of succession, and at the time, only men could be kings. There is a change within the lore, absolutely. And as far as the elves are concerned, the women are empowered. One of them is a ring bearer. But we've already heard that we'll probably see, we saw it in The Hobbit, and that was fine. I thought the love triangle in The Hobbit was stupid, and the action got too long and cartoonish, but it was fine. Whatever. This sounds like it's going to be a woke mess, and it's not. And I'm looking right at Opie and Opie, the showrunners, Patrick McKay and J.D. Payne. From Bad Reboot. They are a product of Bad Reboot. Bad Reboot touches anything, it turns into shit. Everything woke turns to shit. Lord of the Rings, there's a very good chance it could turn to shit. I want this show to be good. I want it to be the best show on television. I have no problem with real female empowerment or male empowerment or just empowerment. What I want to see is when you sell me Lord of the Rings, I want to see Tolkien's vision, not Patrick McKay and J.D. Payne's version. I would accept Peter Jackson's vision. But do we seriously think two guys who are only known for writing the script of half of a shitty fucking Star Trek movie are going to be able to pull off the biggest show of all time? Haven't we gone through this before? Game of Thrones, we had two dipshits who were surrounded by a very good crew, and they were able to hide it for a long time, but then it turned to crap. This is going to be a Lord of Rings that's going to be for the crowd who likes to ship. A welcome change. A welcome change from what? You mean the perfect movie trilogy? A historical account of mythology in a feudalistic society that still showed a female warrior? Fuck these people. Oh, God. So, I honestly think House of the Dragon has a better shot at being good than Lord of the Rings at this point. At least you know what you get with George. Unless, we're going to have two Game of Thrones shows competing with each other. What's wrong with just telling an effing story? What's wrong with just telling a fucking story? Why does it always got to be implanted with your fucking rhetoric? Listen. This all comes from the Marxist playbook. It does. It's all about changing reality, changing language. As Dave Chapelle says, the the community he was criticizing changes words to win arguments. Well, we're now seeing definition of words actually changing to support cultural Marxism. I wanted to show you a little. I can't. I'll have to just read it to you. Let's see if that, okay, it didn't affect it. Good. I wanted to read this. It is an article. Oh, that's weird. You can't click on it. You can click on everything else. Here, I got it. Ah, I need an engineer. I need an engineer. No, I don't want that. Oh, that's why. Fucking. It's their website. Come on, Bounding. You got an ad implanted right behind the article I want to click on, and you can't click on it. All right, so I'll just have to go off of what I read last night. Okay. Stephen DeKnight, the writer for Daredevil Season 2, decided to throw C.B. Cebulski under the bus. Now, C.B. Cebulski is an editor. He's the EIC at Marvel. I don't like the guy. I don't hate the guy. I think he's a mediocre talent and a terrible editor-in-chief. But he went under a pseudonym for a long time, a Japanese pseudonym. He basically just did it to get work. I don't know if he necessarily did it to get ahead. Everybody uses pseudonyms. We knew it at the time, by the way. This was an open secret. So I don't know why it's such a shock to everybody. But everybody, when I was getting the books written by him, everybody knew it was C.B. Cebulski's pseudonym. So what? Who cares? Well, Stephen DeKnight decided to tweet a couple of days ago that he's no longer going to work with Marvel because C.B. Cebulski appropriated somebody's name and used it to get ahead, and I can't work with people like that. And Stephen DeKnight is somebody I've defended. I think he's a good writer. Daredevil Season 2 is fucking awesome, and he's done some really good work. But then you see him go out there and do that shit. And I'm like, there is no more fucking men in Hollywood anymore. There's no more fucking men. Everybody, I don't know if it's social media. I don't know what the fuck. The world has turned into a 14-year-old fucking girl. I cannot work with somebody who used the pseudonym that was Japanese 10 years ago. And instead of, talking to the guy, the editor, calling him up and going what was up with this? And letting C.B. Cebulski explain, hey, it was a mistake. I did it. I said I was sorry I did it. Talk to somebody. Adult to adult. Man to man. No. Stephen DeKnight, successful writer who's achieved a lot of stuff, decides to fucking blast this guy on fucking Twitter. Now, again, I could really give a shit as far as their interactions, but it's the behavior. It's that kind of behavior from grown-ass man. Especially, a balding dude with not a young man, an old man in his 40s, 50s, my age. Putting somebody on blast like that is so bitch. It is so bitch made. And why is this guy doing it? He's successful. So he can have a little moment of looking good, because that's all it was. He doesn't give a shit. If he gave a shit, then he would take his name off of everything Marvel, refuse all fucking future money. Oh, and I'm sure, Marvel being owned by Disney, who publicly thanked the people who run that camp that you concentrate in, I'm sure you're fine with that. But somebody uses a pseudonym from fucking 10 years ago, and all of a sudden you're clutching your pearls and going on Twitter and saying, I'm no longer working for Marvel. And then later on going, well, I'm not trying to end his career. Yeah, you are. And as Dave Chapelle says, you go after a man's money, that's akin to murdering him, trying to murder him. It's a bunch of bitch made. It's a bunch of bitch made shit. And again, I don't give a shit about Sabluski or anything like that. It's just seeing that behavior. It continues the fucking cancel culture. And that's the world we live in now. That's the world we live in. On the donation side, we got Caligula for $10. Thank you. What do these pricks think female empowerment is? Acting more like a fan? Fuck that. Masculinity is strong in its own way. Femininity is strong in its own way. We complement each other. It's not that complicated. No, it never has been, but they made it. There's a point in David Chappelle's special where he just says, gender is a fact. That's what he says. Gender is a fact. I agree. And then he goes, you had to, all of us came out of a vagina of a woman. And then he got a bunch of applause. Like, yes, we all came out of I'm like, yeah, why is that getting applause? I don't blame. I mean, Dave deserves applause. I don't think this was his greatest special. I think a lot of the stuff he says is on the nose. It just comes from Dave, and he says it in his way, and a lot of people respect that, and it carries weight, and that's fine. And you got to respect a man who walked away from $50 million. You do, for his principles. But applauding that's where we are now. Now I got the context of his argument, but here's the context of mine. I have never been against, and I never have been against, I never will be against a transgender person. An individual, a human being who decides to do whatever the fuck they like with their own life. If it makes you happy, then I'm happy for you and I support you. And if you want me to address you in a certain way and you ask nicely, I am perfectly okay with doing that. You start demanding shit when you don't know me and you start demanding shit of society, fuck that. As I've said before, I'll stick with the pronouns I've been using for decades. But when you start using yourself as a group to weaponize language, to attack and ruin people just for language on social media, for a fucking tweet, for one, you're doing horrible damage to your cause, and you're creating thrice as much as resentment as you would have had before. When things were going in your direction. But it didn't seem to be enough. It almost seems like people are threatened by losing that speciality of it. Which makes me question, is it about the speciality or is it about your real identity? Because that's what I thought it was about. I thought it was about a personal decision to make you happy. None of us are ever going to be fully accepted by everybody in this world. So fucking what? Who cares? You know, Dave at the end says he's not going to make any more LGBTQ jokes. Not until we can all laugh at them together. Well, then he's never going to make them again, which is too bad because I agree. You know when we'll be healthy as a society? When we can all laugh at each other again. Laugh at and with each other. And I mean the dirtiest, worst racial jokes imaginable. When people can just laugh them off, like Uhura in Star Trek, when she just laughed it off. When Lincoln referred to her the way she was, she just went, "Oh, that's where we need to be." But we've regressed. With the help of Hollywood, the mainstream media, big tech, they have fortified our regression. Thankfully, though, social media isn't the real world. Because you've heard the accusations leveled at, by the way, when I say this channel, it's all of you and me. You'd be really surprised if you went to one of our meetups. Hardwick Benthau for $1. In one scene of Spider-Man 2, Peter says to Mary Jane, "I was afraid you'd say don't come." I wonder if Perry Chan could do something to create creative with that, like putting it before his Kamala Harris quote. I don't know. Ask him, Hardwick. Perry is on Instagram. You can follow him on Instagram, Perry Chan. And you can email him, I believe, perrychan@gmail.com. Inject some common sense for $5. He's always open to ideas, especially good ones. The Quartering did a video on Governor Newscomb under fire for his daughter not having her tangerine because she needs other tangerines first. Never mind, Cali has mandated all other tangerines years ago. Friend sleeping in Texas airport proudly despite missing kids. Inject some common sense. That's awesome. I have not seen the video. Newscomb. Thank you, Inject some common sense. Newscomb. Yeah. Hang on. California. What is that? Is not it. Yeah, this thing is not fixed yet. Not fixed yet. There we go. California mandates gender-neutral toy aisles for large retailers. First-time violators to face fines as high as $250 and $500 for additional violations. Such a business-friendly state. If you're a toy, for one, large toy retailers, do you know how many are left? Like little to none. So you're talking about what? Target, Wolverine. Wolverine. God damn, my brain is fried. What the hell is that? Target and Walmart? I don't know if Toys R Us came back yet or not, but I'm trying to think of large toy retailers here in California. We don't have Toys R Us. I also have some other news. All toys are gender neutral, dipshit. Last time I checked, there wasn't a toy that said girls are not allowed to buy this. There is a boys' toy aisle and there's a girls' toy aisle. And then there's a bunch of, they would already, I'm trying to remember Toys R Us, and there was I would say only 2 or 3 aisles that would be considered girl aisles and boy aisles. And then it's bikes and games and the rest of that shit, which would all fall under the gender neutral. This is such a fucking waste of time. So you're telling me we're in the midst of a crisis right now. We're mandating that people do things, and we shut down businesses a year ago, but you got time to mandate a gender neutral toy aisle. This word mandate, when did this start fucking coming into our vernacular regularly? And why are we okay with it? Fuck that shit. And the fucking retards voted this guy back in. California Democratic Chairman Gavin Newsom signed into law Saturday a mandate for large toy retailers to keep gender-neutral aisle for children's toys. You see, motherfuckers, they started mandating masks for health emergencies. All of a sudden, mandates are part of the equation. That's dictatorship. You know that slippery slope we were all talking about? You know when people were rooting on cancel culture, rooting on fucking silencing people and censorship and suppression. And we said, hey, those of you who are rooting it on, you morons, it's going to come for you someday. It's here. The state law requires stores with more than 500 or more employees to maintain a gender-neutral store. All right. A gender-neutral section or an area with children's items and toys, excluding clothes, regardless of whether those items have been traditionally marketed for either boys or girls. Do you know how many stores this is going to affect? None. There are no toy stores in California with more than 500 employees. But I'm glad they took time to govern by virtue signal. You motherfuckers. God, I can't wait to get out of this state. This is what happens when you fucking hire a San Francisco mayor. That's what he was. He was hired. He was hired by the Obama administration to run California. And this is what happens when you get a San Francisco fucking mayor. Oh, they'll bring in London Breed next. That dipshit. We need to stop stigmatizing what's acceptable for certain genders, and we just need kids to be kids. By confusing them more. Actually, I can't find the tweet now, but the Babylon Bee actually called this. This is a headline that the Babylon Bee called. My hope is this bill encourages more businesses across California and the U.S. because whatever happens here is coming for y'all. To avoid reinforcing harmful and outdated stereotypes like boys and girls. You know, if I had any faith in the system, I would say this overreach is good, and it virtually guarantees that these idiots will be gone next election. I don't believe that anymore. I need to see it first. Ban mail-in ballots. Unbelievable. Ugh. Well, hey, again, thanks to Gavin Newsom's amazing economic policy, there are no toy stores with 500 more employees unless they're going to apply that to a Target and a Walmart, which still doesn't have that big of a toy section. And if it was me, my mandated gender neutral section, I would get a hot toy, just a hot toy figure body without even a head, just a hot toy figure body, and put it in a basket. There's your gender neutral toy. Stick it up your ass. Griff Rider 1 for $5. John Harrison did a sci-fi miniseries of Dune 2000 that was pretty good. Starred William Hurt as the father and had some other notable actors. I recommend giving it a watch. I watched it a long time ago in 2000. Which was 21 years ago. Griff Rider. Yeah, that's the thing is I watched Dune. I thought it was a good. I definitely want to see it in the theater, but I'm not like, my world isn't rocked. Calling it now. They will have the Black Hobbits establish the Shire. I read this one, but you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. Hang on. I got to refresh this. Make no mistake, in the recall election, there was a window in the envelope through which you could see whether or not a person voted to recall. Then there was a felon caught with hundreds of ballots asleep in his car. It's brazen at this point, in my opinion. It is, and they didn't need to do that because they would have won anyway. They would have won anyway. But yeah, it's brazen at this point, and we've got some serious problems. Thank you, Caligula, for $5. And then for $10 more, it says, what do these pricks think female empowerment is? Acting more like a man? I read that one. Let's go to, that's where I need to go. I need to go over here on the super chat side. Not that side. There we go. We have to be willing to laugh at ourselves as well. Yeah, I did include that in there, didn't I? Not applicable. That would be, I mean, self-deprecating humor is the key. Well, for one, it's the key to humility, being humble. And that's also, that's also a sign of confidence, being able to laugh at yourself. And like Perry Chan takes us to task every week, puts our heads in the most interesting situations, and we laugh our asses off because it's funny. There's some people who are too prickly for that. And that's not good. You got to be able to laugh at yourself. But that's the most important part, not applicable. So that's the key to everything is once we're able to laugh at ourselves, then we'll be able to laugh with everybody about everything. And that means we are a healthy society. We are not a healthy society. There's a lot of poor mental health out there. And now we have corporations and institutions playing to that, playing to victimhood. Because the powerful want you helpless. And what's more helpless than somebody wearing, a mental condition as a badge of honor? Like being a recovering alcoholic is not a badge of fucking honor. It's something I have accepted I am. But if I had a chance to really magically make it go away, I would. The early hobbits lived east of the Misty Mountains. They did. They did. And they came down, and they don't know why. Tolkien never says why, but they made the journey. And they were given some land. And then when the kingdom of Arnor fell, they kept the land. I reserve the right to disapprove and not participate. Absolutely. I reserve the right to keep my liberties and freedoms. Andy LDN for 179 was always in JW Doctor Who, used to be very funny. Was also in Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who, used to be funny. Oh, Lenny Henry, yes. Yes, he was. I remember he was in Spyfall or whatever. Gayton J for 20 Canadian pesos. Thank you. Says, hail, Gary. Thanks for the entertainment. Thank you. Astral Walker for $20 says, Amazon's Lord of the Rings will be the next centerfold of the culture war, the next Gamergate. People will be completely divided over this. It will be technically and visually well made, and the debate will be over the ideology. The debate over ideology will overshadow that. And it's unnecessary. And it's the reason I made my videos. Every fucking Lord of the Rings video I made was, I want to avoid this. Why don't you just adapt Tolkien? Nobody can criticize you for adapting Tolkien. You paid $250 million to adapt Tolkien, then adapt him. That's all you need to do. Sure, people are going to bitch that this is too white and da-da-da-da. But if you just make your shit, eventually the criticism goes away, because it's never really about that. It's about bringing people attention. For example, all the hubbub about fucking Alex Jones. It's gone. It's gone. You know why it's gone? Because for one, I didn't perpetuate it. And it's because they didn't give a shit. The people, the detractors, didn't give a shit that Alex Jones was on my fucking channel. That wasn't about what they were coming after, like I said before. So they're on to the next thing. All Hollywood has to do is the same fucking thing. I've never said you have to listen to us. Just don't listen to them. You adapt something that's close to Tolkien, everybody will like it because everybody already has liked it. It's proven commodity. It's already crossed any racial barriers or actual borders because it's one of the best-selling books ever made, ever written. Translated to like 50 countries. I think it's fine. But no. Two brand new showrunners who wrote a half a bad Star Trek movie are going to fucking change it because they know better. All right. And it has Breaking Bad writers on it. So, yeah, nihilist fucking Lord of the Rings. Awesome. You don't get much more empowered than Galadriel. You really don't, speaker of, is it Faladay for £5? You really don't. Huron, the Steadfast, for 5 Canadian pesos. Hail, Gary. Will you be reviewing Wheel of Time on Amazon? Comes out in November. Yeah, I will. Yes, I will. Thank you for asking. Wilderman Beyond for $5. The better way to bring Bond into the new era is to make the film rated R and Bond as a martial artist. Get Scott Adkins, who almost played Batman. Okay. It's going to be a hard reboot now, so it will be what I said it was going to be in the review. It'll be a bisexual, gender neutral, arachnophobic James Bond with ADHD and astigmatism and a stutter. Stint for $5. Hail, Nerdrotic. Did you see the video on the Daily Wire? Nope. I did not see the video on the Daily Wire. I did not see that video. EVS's video on the Daily Wire. Nope. Did not see it. Hail, Nerdrotic. Any, and my sentiments exactly. Dash Shun's Rule for $5. Thank you. Thank you for supporting my sentiments. Their moral code, their code, it's a bad joke. Dropped at the first sign of trouble. They're only as good as the world allows them to be, says Michael Storm. It is. There is no moral code. The code is virtue. It's a virtue code that is only done to bring attention to themselves, like Stephen DeKnight. Like, what purpose in the world? If you really have a problem with CB Cebulski changing his fucking name, using a pseudonym that's Japanese 10 years ago, then just don't work there. Then just quit. Or, I don't know, talk to him like a human being. We're so far away from that now. No, but it's much better. It's far more beneficial to Stephen DeKnight, the successful writer of Daredevil and multiple shows, who can get a gig wherever he wants. He's in a position where 1 million writers would die to be in his position. Wants to fucking roll the bus over somebody. And again, I'm not a big fan of the somebody he rolled the bus over. It's not the point. The point is, talk to him. But now this is becoming a regular thing. And instead of people talking to each other, we're going to start playing out all of our problems and all of our dramas on fucking social media. That's not going to end well. Which just tells me Scott or Stephen DeKnight is just one of them. He's just one of them. He's a little drama bitch. Wanted to get some attaboys at somebody else's expense. I would call that punching down severely. And I'm not surprised at all. It's comic book creatives eating. They're going to eat their own, and I don't know why they always capitulate to the cult, because that cult will eat you alive. California native watching you make your way out of the state when suddenly a window opened and boom, I moved to Flagstaff, Arizona. Get out, brother. I'm getting out. Dude. It's going to get so much worse. And the property bubble is going to pop. And it's going to be sooner than later because there's a lot of property here. There's a lot of industrial property that's not being used. A lot of empty buildings. And things are not cheap here. You know, that movie theater I go to all the time, it's empty all the fucking time. Even with a hit movie, it's fucking empty because the economy isn't good. I'm in an industrial town. Like Escondido is an industrial blue-collar town. That's where I like to live. That's the kind of places I like to live. With the working man. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice malls. It's nice strip malls. All fucking empty. Now, there's people out working, and there's other parts of California that are packed, but this is working class town. And it's a sign of the economic ecosystem. Now, I'm not a black pill guy. Okay, things are going to get better. It's going to take a lot of work, a lot more work. The more we put it off, the more work it's going to take. Randomize for adult a pound 79 says the Sandman Volume 2 is on Audible and it's fantastic. Is it better? I mean, Randomize, I didn't hate Volume 1. I just felt like it was a little overproduced. A little overproduced. But you know what? To be fair, Big Finish is really overproduced. I mean, they do not allow for silences at all. California, I read that one. Jesse for $5. They demasculated Paul way too much. Ruined it. Then the most interesting character, Duncan. I don't know if I want to say this or not. Well, I got to read it. Didn't die in the original story. I thought he did. I would say this Paul is not very manly. I'll say that. They got the wafiest boy they could get. I'll give you that. But that's supposedly how it is in the book. But thank you, Jesse, for the $5. Dan Christian, thank you for the $5. I appreciate the donation. Thank you. Double back again for $2. Dune best movie since what? Oh, I read this one. And thoughts for Az. Yeah. I got to call Az. I didn't talk to him yesterday. I got to call him today. See how he's doing. Hope he's out there. Hope he's okay. We love Az. And I hope he's doing okay. And we got a $50 super chat here. Zach Zalek for $50. Thank you very much. Gary, you have been saving my sanity. Real question. Can you wrangle Drinker and Shad to review Priscilla, Queen of the Desert? That's the Holy Triad's take on masculinity, arcs, and writing strength. And, of course, strong female characters. Seriously, you want us to Shadversity, Drinker, and yours truly to cover Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Why not? Thank you for the $50. Zach Zalek. That is a very interesting request. I gotta say. I read that one. The Grizzly for $20. He says, I'd also like to say that it's darkest before the dawn. We're all in this together, but we'll make it through this. It hurts to see all the people we once looked up to burn and scathe us for all these ideological reasons. For something as simple as I just want to keep my freedom. That's all. Oh, you can't see that. I'm sorry. I'll fix that. We'll fix that. So that's where it was. That's from the Grizzly. How about a new Bond series by setting them during the time Fleming wrote them, 50s and 60s? You know, Matt Hall for $5. People have brought that up, and I don't think that's a terrible idea, doing it as a period piece. No, they're going to do a Black James Bond. And he's going to be known as Black James Bond. Instead of doing a 008 and get whoever you want. Star Trek Lower Decks, Season 2, Episode 8, the orgy scenes, and the dude posing spread-eagled with his legs in the air. How the hell did Star Trek come to this? Oh, we tried to warn you. We tried to warn you. What can I say? It came to this because they hired a repurposer who doesn't care about the franchise. And now it's like, it's a bunch of it's just pieces of shit. That's all Star Trek is now, is pieces of creative shit. It amuses me that these idiots keep throwing people under the bus without realizing that at a certain point, the bus's wheels no longer touch the ground. Oh, good one. Exactly. You know, it starts out, censorship and suppression starts out one-sided, becomes indiscriminate every single time. So that's why we have to do this. That's why we have to call this shit out. Yes. Sorry, Grizzly. Yes, he will be non-binary. He will be non-binary. You're right, Grizzly. Bond will be. No, but it eventually comes for everyone. And then the people who are rooting it on going, wait a minute. Remember when the BLM rioters were, and Antifa rioters were out there burning shit down? And then you'd see those idiots come out going, but I'm on your side. But I'm on your side. That's what most people think, that they're going to get passed over. It's coming for everybody. Tagged you in a pic on Twitter. I'm Asgard Rage God. Superheroes literally saved my life. And nowadays, I wish mainstream still thought it was lame. Yes. Worst thing that could have happened was them going mainstream. And we all wanted to see this. We did. But at what cost? The MCU cost us Marvel. And DC. And DC never really got their shit together. Looks like Gal Gadot will be leaving Wonder Woman after the third movie, and you're going to be stuck with Ezra Miller as Flash. Hail, Gary, heartbroken as I watch another IP fall. And thank you for being a member for 10 months, Ed Rojas. I appreciate it. Ed Rojas. All right. Yeah, Dune. Like I said before, I don't think it's fair. I think this thing needed to be like a cinematic achievement, and I don't see it as that. And I think that has a lot to do with where they chose to end the movie. You know, I could be wrong. Again, I think people will be okay with this, but it's not tracking to what it's tracking right now. It's not going to get a sequel unless it brings a lot of subs to HBO Max. I think like now would be the good time to greenlight a sequel. I think it would really help your film. So I don't know if they're going to do that. We'll find out. There seems to be a lot of chaos. But my good friend told me Warner Brothers is like one of the most cutthroat places to work. It's just always been like that. MCU was the best and worst thing to ever happen to comics. 43-old me wishes I could tell 50-year-old me not to wish for movies, says Mr. Frobot, member for 9 months. Thank you. I am looking forward to Planet of the Woke. Oh, God. I am not looking forward to Planet of the Woke. Sorry, Rob Atlas, for member for 20 months. That's awesome. Oh, there we go. I'm not looking forward to it either. Oh, whoops. Okay. I feel like I wanted to talk about something else. Hang on. Kate C., a.k.a. Snake Plush Kitten. Oh, I read that one already. Thank you. Since you are from Cali, look up the teacher and the third wave warning. Germany prior to World War II could happen here too. Camps will be sick if we're all there. Let me read that one again. Since you are from Cali, look up the teacher and the third wave. Warning, Germany prior World War II could happen here too. Camps will be sick if they are all here. Teacher and third wave. Un momento. So the third wave was an experiment social. Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah. I remember that. It's when they tried to do that experiment and it went all wrong. It went just all wrong. But yes, you guys can look it up too. Thank you. I don't know how to say this. Malakik or Malasik Zakov. Thank you. Gary, you missed my super chat. Huron the Steadfast. I read one from you earlier. Did you give two? The Sventos. Hail, Gary, from Commie, Canada, where I now have to get a jab or lose my government job. I frelling hate the world these days. Can we just start the upsizing or the uprising? Upsizing. We can upsize the uprising. I would love to start it, but that will be against the TOS. So do what you need to do. That's all I'm going to say. Do what you need to do. But are you in a position? I think Razor Fist did a pretty good video on this. But you're from Canada. Yeah, it's different there. I don't know. They can't mandate all of us. So Razor Fist, I'll echo what Razor Fist said. I'll paraphrase. And I've worked tons of retail. I've worked a lot of jobs in my life. Most of them grunt, blue collar, retail jobs. I ran a retail store. I grew up working in record stores and worked in Targets. I've worked all these jobs. You can find another one. And I would very quietly, and this is what Razor Fist suggested, if you think mandates are coming, very quietly find another job in a place that won't do it. And by the way, there is plenty of work out there right now. Tons of it. It's everywhere. I see help wanted signs everywhere. There is a labor shortage in America, yet we have 8 million people unemployed. So find another job and tell them to fuck off. If you can, if you're in that position. If you're not, do what you have to do. Okay? It's tough, but nothing's going to change until all of us are really united on this one single point: freedom, liberty. You do not mandate. It's just a this. It's just it's just an experimental vaccine. It's just property. It's just 2 weeks. It's just a month. It's just your freedom. It's just your kid's life. It's justed us to death. Don't lose your livelihood over anything, please. But like, there is a point. I mean, Tim Pool's argument has some merit. And I say that as a parent. Now, I am not, we've pulled our kid out of public school. What we do next, right now, we're homeschooling. What we do next, I don't know. I mean, neither my wife and I are qualified to teach a special needs kid. But he's fine on the spectrum. He's fine. He'll be able to get a job. He'll be able to pay rent. He'll be able to go out. I don't know if he's going to be able to drive a car. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. That's going to be important. We'll make sure we're out in the country. So we've done our part and we're leaving. We're defunding San Francisco. I'm not going to pay with my property tax money anything London Breed, any of her policy or any of Gavin Newsom's fucking totalitarian policy. I'm out. But there's not enough. There's people who are going to go, I like California. I'm going to stay here. Who could move? Now, there's a lot of people who can't move. Then you have my sympathy. Mexican Iron Man for $50. Hail, Brother Gary. Cannot wait to see you out of California. I am so much happier out here in South Carolina, and you and the wife and the kids are welcome to come on a vacation at my place here at Hilton Head Island. Oh, my dad used to love to visit Hilton Head Island. He used to golf out there. I escaped Cali, hell, and found paradise from Brother Mike. Oh, thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mexican Iron Man. Hail. Dude, I will take you up on that. I will take you up on that. But like Tim Pool's argument that was out there that I think the quartering was taken to task on. Here's the way I see it. It's not an easy thing to disrupt your life, to disrupt your conveniences. It's not. And I can't tell people to do it. I'm not going to judge you for not doing it. But here is, you know what? It's the exact same with Star Wars. It is. Let's just say freedom and Star Wars are the same thing. Both are in jeopardy. I would say Star Wars is in worse shape than freedom, but not by much. Like by a sea hair, maybe. It's arguable. You want Star Wars to change, you need to stop buying it. You need to completely give it up. But not many people are going to do that. I've done it. But I don't care. I don't want Star Wars to change. I just don't care anymore. It's dead to me. But if you want something to change, you got to, and it's in a bad direction, you got to stop supporting it. So eventually, if we want Star Wars to get better, everybody's going to have to stop watching it. It's going to have to be, it's going to got to force them into a desperate situation. And that doesn't always reap creative fruit. But when it comes to our freedom, we need to hold the line on everything. And that day is going to come. Is it now? Is it later? I don't know. Will it be too late when most of us wake up and realize that we've allowed this to go on too long? I think there's still a lot of people who think it'll just right itself. It always does. It's not happening in this case, folks. It's not. If it's going to right itself, we are going to have to work at it. We are going to have to elect new politicians across the board. All of us are going to have to pay attention to local elections like we've never paid attention to them before. I don't know if that can happen. I don't know. I'll do it. I'll be the change I want to be, and we'll see what happens. Hardwick Benthau for $1. I think that casting Daniel Craig as James Bond was a mistake. They maybe should have gotten Jude Law instead. Timothy Dalton is also the closest to the Bond of the books that we've gotten so far. Yes, but one of the, I think it was both of his stories weren't from the books, weren't from Ian Fleming books. At least License to Kill. I like Timothy Dalton's better than I did before. I didn't like the casting of Daniel Craig at first. I didn't. James Bond isn't blonde. He's not blonde. But I loved Casino Royale, but that was obviously just a one-off. Thank you, Mexican Iron Man and Hardwick Benthau, for the donations. The Sventos for 2 Canadian pesos. What franchise do you think will be next to die? Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I don't think Dune is going to be a franchise. I don't think it's going to have enough to be a franchise. Which is too bad for Doom fans. And as far as like the feminist stuff in there, I think it's baked into the script, but it's too early to tell what Paul is, in my opinion, because he's nowhere near being the full Paul yet. Also, love your content and preaching fellowship. You help me to my 2 years of sobriety. Thanks, brother. Oh, you're welcome. So I'll keep coming back. Stay, don't. I read it anyway. Malik. Is it Malikik or Malisik? Sorry. Zakov. I'll just call you Zakov. That one's fun to say. Thank you. I like that people are using the word fellowship and not community. I mean, it's not your fault for saying community. Everybody's saying community, but that's commie speak. So say fellowship. I like fellowship. But we're a loose collection of individuals who all think for ourselves and all do our own thing. And that goes for content creators or viewers or audience. You can like who you like, support who you want to support. I've got subscribers that watch John Campea all the time. That's fine. Got nothing. I think the guy's a shill, but I don't want anything bad to happen to the person. And I want his channel to exist, and I want him to make as much money as he can. I love Robert Meyer Burnett. Don't agree with him on everything, but I don't agree with my wife on everything. And we've already gone over that. It's just a firing squad, says input latency for $1.99. Thank you. It's just a firing squad. It's just a concentration camp. It's just a re-education camp. It's just a sealed border. It's just house arrest. Somebody put on Twitter, I don't know if it's true. It was do not comply. The hashtag was do not comply. It was trending last night before I went to bed. And somebody said that if you tweet that in Australia, you could actually get in trouble. Now, I don't know if that's true. I think we need to, is there anybody from Australia out there that can say that can actually get you in trouble? Because if that's true, you guys got work to do, man. Oh. But that I don't know if it's true. It sounds like one of those internet things, but it might be true. And if it is, that's frightening. So yeah, do not comply. There I go, God of Rage. Thank you for the $1 donation. I appreciate it. Thank you. Steve Holder for £5. Hail Gary and blessings to Mrs. Nerdrotic and family, loving Friday Night Tights, and best wishes to Az. Yes. I saw Az did a couple of videos today, which fired me up. That made me happy. I was like, yes, my man made some videos today. So I'm going to call him later. Az has become one of my best friends. Very, very close friend, which is cool. I've made a lot of cool friends through this. I didn't have a ton after the comic shop kind of, the whole thing fell apart in my life. So putting it back together, I had to put, some friendships did not get put back together. So I've got a couple old friends, which is good, but mostly new ones. Since you, okay, I read that one. Thank you, Steve Holder. You are too kind. Let's see what this one. 200 rubles. Shadow Dancer. If there could be a Bond film about aged Bond, who do you think could properly pull it off? Pierce Brosnan in current age could still do that? Thank you in advance for the answers. For 200 rubles, Shadow Dancer, I think Pierce Brosnan as an aged Bond would be great. Timothy Dalton could also do it. But if you want to think of, too old. I was thinking about that because we have a Bond multiverse now. Because Daniel Craig was his own Bond in his own universe. So there's a Bond multiverse. So the main Bond continuity ended with Pierce Brosnan. So you could have Pierce Brosnan go through he's like at CERN and he goes through a black hole and then he saves Daniel Craig before he blows up. And then they run into Timothy Dalton, and it could be the three Bonds, like the three doctors. That'd be fucking terrible. But no, Pierce is the man. He's playing Dr. Fate. That'll be interesting. Darth Gravel for $5. I revoke my consent to be governed by this illegitimate regime. I do too. There's Az calling me right now. Should I pick it up? Hey.
Hey, can you please say Pierce Brosnan and not Pierce Bronson?
Did I say Bronson? I'm sorry. Pierce Brosnan.
Keep saying Bronson.
Charles Bronson as Bond would be better. Pierce Brosnan.
It's an Irish surname.
Oh, he's not Scottish?
No, he is Irish as well.
Pierce Brosnan. Brosnan.
Thank you.
Brosnan.
Okay, I'll let you get back on with your stream.
Thank you. Pierce Bronson. I revoke my consent to be governed by this illegitimate regime. I wish we could, Dark Gravel. Hey, Gary, if I don't get the jab, not only will I lose my job, I'll be barred from ever seeing my aged parents again. Yeah, you can't tell people to say no to that. I can't. I mean, there is going to be a time where you hold the line, but that's a situation I'm in too, my man. Pierce Brosnan. Because I'm known for pronouncing names so well. Thank you. See, Az is good. He's watching. Hail, Az. Everybody. F's in the chat for Az. Man of War 665, the neighbor of the beast. Remember what songs what the song says, Gary. They'll watch us rise. With fire in our eyes, they'll bow their heads. Their hearts will hang low. Then we'll laugh and they will kneel and know this heart of steel was too hard to break. Too hard to hold. Oh my God, what song is that from? Hang on. I'll find out. Oh no, that didn't work. Oh, because I'm using the wrong keyboard. By Thunderstone, Heart of Steel. Heart of Steel. I like that. We do not kneel. We do not kneel. Hey, House of the Dragon. So the House of the Dragon trailer came out last week. And I haven't talked about it with just you guys. And it's got Matt Smith in it. And I like Matt Smith. It's Daemon Targaryen. And I don't like the story it's based on, and I never have. So I've got to be fair and say that up front. The Dance with the Dragons it's a story, it's a historical tale that was made to give texture to the original book that George is never going to finish. So House of the Dragons is a story taken from an unfinished book series based on an unfinished book series. I repeat, House of the Dragons is based on a story that's in an unfinished book series that's based on an unfinished book series. But at least this story has an ending. It's a terrible ending. It's a horrible ending. It's an ending that I don't think anybody's going to like unless they change it drastically, which they probably could. Now, what are some of the pros? Ryan Condell is a good showrunner. Miguel Sapochnik is a good director. Dan and Dave aren't there. And then you have all the other people who worked on Game of Thrones. We are going to get things like magic that Dan and Dave didn't like. The thing is, there's not much magic in this story. I don't know where they're going to get it from. Sounds like they're going to be taking a lot of liberties, and I think they're going to have to. I might support this because this story only takes place in Westeros for the most part, unless they add something else. And it centers around a Targaryen civil war. And if you're worried about it getting spoiled, it's already been spoiled. This short story has been it's been around for years. George finally put it in a book, and I think it was in another book. It was also a special feature twice on the Game of Thrones Blu-rays and DVDs. And if you've ever watched an Emergency Awesome video, he's spoiled the ending like 100 times. Well, okay, I won't over exaggerate. 20 times. 20 times he has spoiled the ending to this show. So it has an ending. That's good. It centers around two women. Who are basically in the shadows controlling. Well, no, one's a queen, so she's like in charge of her own fate. And the other one is a Hightower helping her son. But those are going to be that's going to be the focus of the show. But Matt Smith will probably be the other star. And I think he's very well cast. I think that was like, and for the most part, I think the casting is pretty good in the show, except for Corlys Valerian, which was ridiculous. But you're not, well, they will say you're not allowed to say it, and if you actually bring it up, you're racist. No, we're talking about a fictional character here that you have changed fundamentally a pretty important storyline, but whatever. It's done fine. I thought the trailer looked good, and it did. You know what? It depends on where you are. Because I got a lot of emails going, fuck this show. But it got a lot of response, and I think what we fans were optimistic, okay? We're optimistic people. So we want to remember the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones. Remember when you got excited? Remember what, depending on where you are, East Coast, West Coast. If you're on the West Coast, it's about 5:30 Sunday in April, and you're getting ready for Game of Thrones. And that was fun. That was a good time. You had a good show to watch. And then eventually you started watching it with a group of friends, or you went to a bar and watched it. It was a good time. Until Dan and Dave got a little too big for their britches. And they got a Star Wars gig that ruined the entire fucking show. Now, and George R. R. Martin ruined the entire fucking show by not finishing the book. I want to remind everyone, again, House of the Dragon is based on a book. It's based on a story in an unfinished book series based on an unfinished book series. But let me add one more. George stopped writing the main book series to write Fire and Blood, which Dance of the Dragons is in, which led directly to the disaster of Game of Thrones Season 8. So this story you're watching is the reason the previous story got fucked. George is never going to finish. Poor Jon Snow, bleeding out, Castle Black, for 3,740 days now. 3,740 days. Yeah, I'll probably watch it anyway. And like, it could be good. But it also could be intersectional feminist drivel, woke Game of Thrones. So we'll see. I think the first one will, also the first season is probably going to be boring as, I don't know. There's going to be lots of dragons, so the normies are going to love it. Ooh, dragons! No White Walkers, but lots of dragons. You know what happens to all the dragons? I'm going to spoil something. I will count so you can plug your ears. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They all die. Hail to the fellowship. I stand for all of you. I truly love all of you, and I see how talented all of you are. I will be on YouTube to promote your content. I am your shield. Make new content, writers, artists, and creatives, says Ruben. What's up, Ruben? I love Ruben. He's at the Gandalf level for 4 months. Thank you very much, Ruben. I appreciate it. Ruben's got quite a story. He's got quite a story. We love Ruben. We also love Pierce Bronson. $20 Canadian from Mr. Buttcrack Media. He says, here's a donation to your moving fund. Hail Nerdrotic and hail to the fellowship. Hail to the fellowship. I appreciate that. Fuzzy, thank you for the $1.69. I appreciate it. 69. Chris Persia. You aren't supposed to be Chris. Come on. The Canadian Wrench for $1.49. Thank you. I was named after Batman says, just read the New York Times. Superman's son, Jonathan, is an activist and will be coming out of the closet as gay in the next comic. For $9.99. I'll read it. Sure. So he's not just gay. He's an activist. Well, I mean, isn't that going along with everybody now? Next thing you know, Piers Bronson will come out as gay. Oh, I don't know. Am I going to be able to read this? Do I have to subscribe to the New York fucking shit? Superman is gay. Gay, gay, gay. Everybody is gay. There it is. And this gets them what they want. All their fucking headlines. And you know how long this will be remembered? All right, here we go. I apologize in advance for reading the New York Times. Let me get that super chat real quick. Hail again, Gary. On my last break of my 12-hour day. Glad you're still streaming. Dude, son of the wolf, I'm glad you're still working. 12-hour day, you're a beast. You don't work in the entertainment industry, do you? You're probably not getting paid very much. Those fuckers, they're going on strike. Son of the wolf, thank you. Thank you for the $50. Love you, man. Have a good day at work. We got George Molo. George! Motherfucking George! For $199.99, George. I forgot. It gay for one day. Listen, I was like, I was trying to remember the last character who turned gay, and I couldn't. So I couldn't follow up that statement. So I'm like, yeah, you're going to, you know how long we're going to remember it about is the last time I remembered the last character who turned gay who I forgot. So now that could be my early onset Alzheimer's, my drug use, or Piers Bronson. I'm not sure. Gender neutral toys are a bait and switch from the woke warrior alphabet soup brigade to inflame and infuriate people to react in a manner the mainstream media can exploit, all the while distraction from another policy coming down the pipe. My best to you, brother, this week on the Tim Pool. All hail, George Molo. Another person I need to call back. Thank you, George. Yesterday I spent all day watching stuff and sleeping because that Bond video, I went to bed at night going, oh my God, I got my Bond video done. It was supposed to be out Saturday, but I'm like, I'd rather put it out Sunday. So I tweaked it a little bit. Then I got up at like 3 a.m. to go, do 3 a.m. stuff that you got to do, take a leak. And I watched my video one more time because I like to watch it a lot because I miss shit. I just do. And I missed a huge mistake. And I'd seen the thing 100 times. And I don't know how I missed it. But I'm like, oh, shit. So I had to fucking get presentable at 3:30 in the morning to drop a clip in there and then re-upload it and then redo this and redo that. Went to bed at 6 a.m. So I slept. And it's awesome. It's so great that I can do that I can fix something at 3:30 in the morning. I'm lucky. I mean, I worked hard for this, but I'm lucky. You know, at that 9 to 5, I had between that 9 to 5 to not fuck up. And if I fucked up, you know, usually my fuck ups weren't that bad. At Tesla, or I didn't really fuck up much at Tesla. By that, I kind of knew what I was doing by then. I could do the auto parts thing in my fucking sleep now. Thank you, George. Thank you, George. Okay, let's do this. Hang on. Yeah, it's kind of lagging. What is up with that? Un momento. It's not responding. Here we go. I got to do that first because this thing is not responding. Sorry, I'll just keep talking until this thing wants to work. Or I'll just read it until it pops up. So, Superman comes out as DC Comics ushers in a new Man of Steel. The new Superman, the son of Clark Kent. Oh my God, when are you going to fucking work? Hang on. There we go. There we go. Let's try that again. Superman comes out as DC Comics ushers in a new Man of Steel. The new Superman, the son of Clark Kent and Lois Lane, is concerned about the environment, does not shy away from politics, and will soon begin a romantic relationship with a male friend. Jonathan Kent, the new Superman, who is the son of Clark Kent and Lois Lane, shares an unexpected kiss with his friend Jay. Up, and out of the closet. Oh, says George Gene Gustins, the new Superman, Jonathan Kent, who is the son of Clark Kent and Lois Lane, because they need to tell us things 5 times before we get into the actual article to pad their words, will soon begin a romantic relationship with a male friend, DC Comics announced Monday, and will soon start vigorously ass-pounding Jay with his super penis. Now, is he going to hold back, or is he going to shoot his load through the top of Jay's poor head because he's a human being? We don't know, but we ask the same questions of his mother, Lois, so we only need to be fair here, okay? The same-sex relationship, be careful there. Sex is a construct. It's a construct. It's just one of the ways that Jonathan Kent, who goes by John, is proving to be different Superman than his famous father. Since his new series, Superman, Son of Kal-El and Gay Superman, began in July, John has combated wildfires caused by climate change. I want to punch my screen. I want to punch this guy in the face. I want to punch this guy in his fucking dumb face. How does climate change cause a fire? Did the lightning or the piece of glass that the sun reflected through that was broken back in 1850 in the middle of the forest when they didn't clean out the undergrowth? Chairman Newsom didn't clean out the undergrowth. By the way, I was a firefighter for a little while. Dipshit! Yes, the environment can cause a fire. Trash can cause a fire. A cigarette can cause fire. It just being fucking hot can cause a fire. Lightning can cause a fire. But the process of climate change, which absolutely is happening, the climate is always changing, always has, always will. We're still technically getting out of an ice age. Ah! Son of Kal-El began in July. John has combated wildfires caused by climate change, thwarted a high school shooting, and a protest deportation of refugees in Metropolis. Did he fight Antifa rioting, burning down innocent people's business, shooting political opponent, executing political opponents on the street? Does he fight that? The idea of replacing Clark Kent with another straight white savior felt like a missed opportunity, Tom Taylor, who writes the series, said in an interview. He said that a new Superman had to have new fights, real world problems that he could stand up to as one of the most powerful people in the world. So you just aged up the kid, copied him, made him gay, and now, like, because Superman wouldn't stop a school shooting, and Superman used to beat the shit out of bad landlords all the time back in the day. And I doubt Metropolis would fucking deport refugees. The coming out of Superman, perhaps the most archetypal American superhero, is a notable moment even in the age when many comics have embraced diversity and are exploring pressing social issues. Batman's sidekick Robin recently acknowledged romantic feelings for a male friend. No, not Dick Grayson, who was Batman's partner for over 4 decades, but Tim Drake, a later replacement. There are multiple Robins, just as there are multiple Superman. And a new Aquaman comic stars a gay black man who is positioned to become the title hero. They always like to make black men gay, by the way. It makes them less threatening because these people are racist pieces of shit. It has been a steady evolution for an industry that have moved censor itself in a number of ways after seduction of the innocent. Oh God, don't even bring up Frederick Wortham, okay? You're bringing him back. This is the new Frederick Wortham. In a very odd way, you're self-censoring now. You just called your title character a white savior. Another straight white savior. DC. There was a lot of straight white superheroes, yes. There was also others. They built your company. Nobody's buying your shit now. And you want to know why? Because we're on our 5th. I used to be into this shit, and I lost count of how many Supermen there are. How many fucking Supermen. You know what this is? Just the gay one who will be forgotten. Sure, for about 3 months, not even that. For 2 months, this issue will be valuable on eBay. So if you have a copy, sell it now. It will be worthless in 2 months. Just like all of your variants. Go see if you can sell that Avengers versus X-Men 1 in 200 variant for $2,000 right now. You can't. But you could when it came out. By the way, that's the last event I remember. I read Marvel Now after Avengers versus X-Men, and then everything's been shit. Secret Wars, that was dumb. That's where the 616 ended to me. So they admit it right there. I mean, like, even though this is like totally been done to death, this is a big deal. So they go into the seduction of the innocent, right? Which all these fucking people would support. Censorship. The book helped inspire congressional hearings, blah, 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 blah. One of the earliest mainstream comics to feature gays or lesbian appeared in 1980. It was not a positive portrayal. In the story, Bruce Banner, the alter ego of Marvel, is at a YMCA where two gay men try to rape him. It's not a positive portrayal, no, but accurate one, maybe. I mean, I've been institutionalized. I see what goes down. Things had started to evolve in 1992 when North Star, another Marvel hero, came out, and the event was praised in an editorial in the New York Times. I remember when it happened. Yeah, it's not. Everything about the North Star creation is good. That's everything we want. You made him. It was fine. It was a mutant, and it was an important enough character. The X-Men were at the fucking height of their popularity. Why the fuck not? But now we're like trying to pluck down these white saviors. That's how they see them. It's not. They're just heroes. They're just heroes. And what they're doing is they want to make sure if we're going to enjoy them, we're going to enjoy them the extremist way. And that's why they're killing the golden goose. It's dying before our very eyes. I mean, how much does Superman mean to DC right now? They got the Lois and Clark show. But I think it'll probably end up going woke, just like everything else, which is too bad because it's pretty good so far. It's pretty good. But where is this going? Oblivion. So you have the character of Superman. You had Henry Cavill wanting to play him. Why is that not fast-tracked? Why does Ezra Miller's Flash movie have to have two Batman in it? Why are they filling Doctor Strange movies and Spider-Man's movie with, a Tobey Maguire possibly and an America Chavez? Because they're still going to force the new woke characters on you. That's what all this shit's for. Trying to force new woke characters on you when you don't want it. So, I know Dan Jurgens was writing Superman a couple years ago, and it was probably the best it's ever been in a long fucking time. In a long time. Looking forward to reading a Superman book. Now I'm just like, I'm looking forward to reading all the Superman I didn't read. And there's a lot. So though Superman is not, though he keeps calling him Superman, is not the first LGBTQ hero, he will not be the last. Comic experts said that was something particularly momentous about Superman coming out. And who are these experts? Let me see. It is not North Star, who your aunt never heard of, said Glenn Weldon, the author of Superman, the Unauthorized Biography, and the co-host of the Pop Culture Happy Hour on NPR. It's not Hulkling. It's not Wiccan. It's not Fire and Ice. It's not Tasmanian Devil. It is Superman. No, it's not. It's not. It's Superman's son. That counts for something, just in terms of visibility, just in terms of the fact that it's going to attract attention. But why? You just finished saying, you just listed off a bunch of gay characters, and there's a bunch of them now. So what's the point of this? Why? Normalizing gay's normal. We're there. It sounds a little late to the party to me. There has been some blowback to the recent evolution charted by comics. In August, as rumors about Superman development began to circulate, a commenter on a website complained that Marvel and DC have ruined their characters to please the woke mob who don't even buy their books, which is true. But others have cheered the news. It's nice to see queer superheroes being more mainstream now. I'm very happy to see people like me being in the main characters. Another commenter. Okay, so there... They did not link. Let's see who the link is. Bleeding Cool. All right, let's see if we can find out who actually said this. There's a very easy way to do that. Let's see. That comment is not in this link. So they just linked to Bleeding Cool. No citation for that comment whatsoever. No citation for other comment. You know what? I heard plenty of Marvel and DC have ruined their characters to please the woke mob who don't even buy their books. That's a fucking fact. But then their response is, it's nice to see a queer superhero being mainstream. I'm very happy to see people like me being the main characters, wrote fake commenter. Weldon said that the changes in comics can lead to more vibrant storytelling. Oh, really? Any step that can be taken to make the world on the superhero comics page more look like the world outside of it is good. That gives you access to more varied stories, more interesting stories. If it gives more, how can we get the same answer all the time? For change, we get the same answer every time. And every time we hear this answer, I answer with this, with another question. Then how come less people are buying it? How come it's being sold to fewer people? How come fewer people are purchasing your product? It's more different ways of telling stories. Okay, I guess you're technically different. Superman, who you've never seen put his penis in a vagina, is now, you're never going to see him put his penis into a backside. This gives you access to more varied stories. How many fucking varied stories have we heard from Marvel and DC lately? Batgirl's Antifa. Gay Superman is fighting climate change. That's the same shit we've been hearing from Captain America and Spider-Man and Iron Man and Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel and every fucking comic you've written in the last 3-4 years. How is that fucking different? You know, it'd be fucking different. Somebody saying taxation is theft. That'd be different. Jonathan Kent took the mantle of Superman alongside his father this year. The Clark Kent version of Superman was introduced in 1938. He married Lois Lane in 1996. Jonathan was introduced in 2015. And let us skip a lot of comic book shenanigans, spent some time as Superboy before being encouraged by his father to become the new Superman so they can just make him gay. So they gave, hey, Alphabet community, they gave you a Superman that they can easily edit out of every movie and in any future lore because DC resets its realm, its universe, every few years. I've always said everyone needs heroes and they deserve to see themselves in those heroes. For so many people, having the strongest superhero in comics comes out as incredibly powerful, except he's not. He's not Superman. So you're lying to them. And you're using their community to get attention for a book that desperately needs it. That desperately needs it. Oh, well. The only difference is that's not Superman. So you get Superman's son. Listen, comic books have been soap operas, but there's so many motherfuckers making out in comic books now. What the fuck? It's like, I've never seen a generation so obsessed with sex that doesn't want to actually have it. Let's see here if I can pull up the Comic Cron on this. Can't get real accurate sales anymore. Let's what date is it? Let's go August. Let's see, Superman. Oh shit, what comic was that in? Hang on. Oh, I love they link to themselves in this too. Okay, so let's see. Superman. Oh, there it is. Here it is. It's number 56. 68 in dollars. And it sold 40,000 copies. That's issue number 2, by the way. So there's probably variants involved. A Superman book selling 40,000 copies. That's considered a hit nowadays, ladies and gentlemen. I'll show you. Gosh, dang it. This is so annoying. All right, that's very small, so I'm going to zoom it in. There's Superman, son of Kal-El. It sold at $3.99, 40,000 copies. Now, that's estimated units. We do not get actual sales or numbers anymore. And it's kind of bullshit, but I'll tell you how many people actually read this book, who picked it up and actually read it. Half, 20,000. 20,000 people in a country of 333 million, 33 million. 20,000 people read this book. So is it a net positive or is it net negative? Well, I don't buy DC Comics or Marvel Comics anymore. Haven't for about a year. Az and I both gave it up because we got tired of shit like this and horrible people working for the industry, going out and trying to cancel people. And there's horrible people all around. But one of the main reasons I started tuning into YouTube was comic book creators treating fans like shit and seeing that I used to talk to those fans every day in my shop and try to sell them their wares, and I see them being abused verbally. Yeah, it tends to get me pissed off. I had a strong connection with my customers at the shop, and I am a lifelong comic book fan. So, and that's why I'm still here. Treating fans like shit, not listening to fans, using their own characters against them so you can attack them, doing shit like this so you can create controversy. It feels important to take something. Wouldn't it be more important to make something? But it's more important to take something. How does that make things better? Newsflash, it doesn't. Creates resentment. Sure, you get a few whoops and hollers on Twitter, which is not the real world. And then people just start going, this is a Superman comic. Fuck it. Bye. And it's more and more every day. This is a shrinking comic book industry. Look at King Spawn. You got King Spawn here. I liked it. It was a good book. It had 8 variants. 8 variants. That is still a really impressive number. And you know what they did? Made a Spawn book. It's not filled with Spawn stopping climate change or being gay. Spawn being Spawn. Oh, black superhero, by the way. An original a derivative Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, Venom ripoff. Still an original superhero. Batman 89. A nostalgic book based on the Tim Burton movie. Not starring Pierce Brosnan. 134,000. That's pathetic. Only the top 4 cracked 100,000. Only the top 4. And this is with variants. So they're still pulling their shit. And you get out of the top 10, we're in 70,000. There you go. That's the comic industry, folks. Rest in peace. And the best thing about it is there are so many books out there that I haven't read, that you haven't read. And we don't need to buy anything new. And it's cheaper, especially if you get DC. If you like the Suicide Squad movie and you want to read those Suicide Squad comics, you can find them for cheap. Or get the trades. Go to half price books. Get the trades. I hate trades. I don't like trade paperbacks. I mean, I've got a bunch of them. I've got but I don't buy them. Those were given to me. I don't buy them. I buy comic books. Okay. You got everything out of that. Charles Bronson would have been an awesome Bond, says Shadow Dancer for 100 rubles. Do you think they might screw with the Melkor Morgoth? Do you think they might screw with Melkor Morgoth in a flashback? What do you think? Mika P for $5. Yes, they're going to screw with everything. I mean, Dankula and I had a discussion on about this. He came to a different conclusion than I did, but Sauron being gay is a possibility. You got a lot out of that super chat. I was named after Batman, but it's okay. I'm glad I read it. I'm going to have to do a video on it now. I was resisting to doing a video, guys, because I didn't want to fucking play to their shit, to be honest with you. Because they want me to go out. They want you to go out there and bitch about this. And it's not Superman. It's Superman's son. So, I mean, technically it's an original character. It's a derivative. But there is something to say about that article straight up admitting that even though it's not Superman, they're saying it's Superman, right? And this is a great, I think, opportunity to show that they would rather take than make. This isn't about equality. This is about equity. That word equity, we got to worry about because the bottom line with the word equity is, folks, it's Marxism, and they want to come for your fucking property and stuff. They don't want you to own a fucking thing. That's where we're headed. That's where we're headed. Yeah, it might sound a little crazy now. It might. Remember how crazy it sounded that everything's going woke in Hollywood a couple of years ago? Remember how crazy some conspiracies sounded a couple of years ago and now they're actually fucking happening? Remember how crazy mandates on vaccine passports sounded? Time to wake up. Cinema Blend rumors that Doctor Who Flux shows 13th Doctor is from a parallel universe. A retcon. A retcon to make Jodie's doctor still a doctor, but from an alternate universe, while fixing the Doctor Who canon. Is that a possibility? Yes, I think it's. You hear that article I just read? I don't think they'll change it. Gotta go soon. By the way, the Juggernaut by your shoulder looks like a Centauran. Is he a Centauran? A juiced, mutated Centauran? Well, kind of, yeah. I mean, like, but that Juggernaut actually looks fucking good. I can't reach it, though. I've got a bunch of Sontarans in here, by the way. Thank you, Carl Wolf, for $4.99. The Sventos for 5 Canadian pesos. Captain Spire. Sorry for asking. Have you been getting your... I've been getting my coffee. No, don't sorry for asking, Captain Spire. I'm going to show it on my next toxic mailbag, but thank you. Yes, I'm jacked up on coffee right now. Holy shit, it's almost 4. I was only going to do this for a couple hours. I got to go. I got to go right now. I got to go pick up my wife from the airport. So, yes, this is going to be a very abrupt ending. If I missed any super chats, I will get them on a square up. Damn it. I meant to set the alarm, but I have to bail right now. So, love you. Thank you very much. Catch you next time. The Nooner will be back on Wednesday.